This week on the Diz Idiots, has it gotten too stressful to plan a Disney trip? Is it faster to take the bus? Will Cosmic Rewind go into previews? And why is DeSantis going to war with Disney? All this and more this week on the Diz Idiots podcast for April 5th, 2022. Welcome to the Diz Idiots. We're the podcast about anything and everything in the world of Disney, Universal, and, well, anything kind of nerdish related. And, before we get started, before we get into some hot topics, some big things going on, I want to take a moment and just remember Estelle Harris. You will be missed. That was a moment. We were silent. It worked.
George, I'm ready for my sponge bath.
Here's Mr. Angry Eyes.
Nice. Oh, Mrs. Potato Head, you are so much better than Mr. Potato Head.
Estelle Costanza.
I liked her. But, I'm just going to start off, and before I get anywhere in this, I just want to mention that most of my topics tonight came from allears.net.
Yeah.
Because that's who I picked to read this week, and WDW News Today was not having good stuff.
There's nothing wrong with that because both are wonderful. We love allears.net. Who's that set to love?
Well, and they've been rocking more opinion pieces.
I'm more of a DFB kind of guy. Disney food blog. With all those glorious photos of food in the parks.
Look, we all know the realness. If you want to listen to somebody talk about food for 7.5 hours, the only Disney podcast longer than our podcast last week, that is Lou Mangello on WDW Radio.
Yeah, that's what our episode last week was Lou's introduction to all of his episodes.
Yeah.
Love you, Lou. Love you, but geez.
I was listening to him while mowing the lawn the other day, and I had gone about halfway in my acre of mowing, and we got through the intro.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about like that's Lou for you.
But, he does have some of my favorite Disney memories, but I just want to start off right off the bat. Has it gotten too stressful to plan a Disney trip? Like, I used to have fun with this stuff, and lately I've been dreading it.
Yeah, especially when it came to the making the dining reservations. To me, it felt like fantasy football when it came to the draft. Because it's like, okay, it opens up at this time, and you're pretty much on the clock to find, like, your best restaurants to make reservations for. And you're like, am I going to get it? Am I going to get it? Am I going to get it? I'm going to get it? Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
It's almost like you got to do ranked choice. I'll have a first, second, and a third option. And
yeah.
But it is. Honestly,
it's like fantasy draft.
And this is people who know Disney who are saying this. I really feel bad for people who don't know better with dining reservations and now even park reservations. For people who truly don't know better, I was reading something today, which I know you guys read, and it flat out said, Disney does not force you to make a park reservation when you book. You're everything. People are going, and what do you mean I can't get in? It's never been that way before. They've made it so complicated, it's not even funny.
All the more reason to use a Disney authorized travel agent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I'm here to help. I take all your stress out of your worries, and I take care of it.
Yes, you give him your ranked choices, and he will make it happen.
Yep.
If you've ever watched The Green Mile, Brian is here to take away your pain.
Yes, that is me. I am Michael Clark Duncan. May he rest in peace.
Well, and it's not just this planning in advance. It's planning when you get there, because
absolutely.
Now I get there and I go, oh God, I gotta be up at 7. because
Mhm.
I have to know if I'm going to book that Genie Plus, if what I want to ride.
Exactly. And like people, it's like it's like you're on vacation, and it's like lately, when you're on vacation, it's now like a second job almost. Nothing against selling. I love selling, but I'm just saying, like, for average
Yeah.
guests, it's like they're going there and it's like, okay, we have to get up and we have to essentially go to work to make sure that we get these fast passes in time.
And I have to tell you, especially having a little girl, knowing rope drop ain't happening most days.
Right.
I'm sitting here going, okay, I can sleep in a bit. It's vacation. No. I got to be up at 7. I got to book that Genie Plus. I got to book those lightning lanes right away, because if I don't book within the first 2.5 minutes, I'm not riding Rise of the Resistance, which is like 33% of the attractions at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. I know we harp on it, but it's a big deal. The old paper ticket Fast Pass was the best. And I will even say, I was not a Fast Pass Plus fan, especially when you got to the parks where it's like, yes, you can choose one attraction you want to ride and Figment. Like, okay, yeah, I get it. That wasn't great, but at least you did that so far in advance that it wasn't infringing on your actual day of vacation.
Right.
And it shouldn't be made where if I don't do this, we're going to have to wait in a 4-hour line for Rise of the Resistance. Plan your attractions better here, people.
Yeah, so that's just what needs to happen. But, there's also just a lot of tips that people give. Common tips you'll hear everyone say you have to do when you go to Disney. And you know what? A lot of them are wrong for the vast majority of the people in the world. Because, yes, you might listen to some of us big Disney fans here. We might say, you absolutely have to go to Rope Drop. Do you have to do Rope Drop?
No. Of course not. Once. Everyone should rope drop something in their life. It doesn't have to be Disney. You should rope drop something once at a theme park. That's it. Just once.
I have found, at least in the last couple times, all the magic of rope drop is gone. Like, it's not there. It's just, you're there.
It's Black Friday. It's Black Friday.
The old Cedar Point running of the bulls is what we're talking about. Everyone should do just a rope drop once, literally one time. After that, that's no need to rope drop.
Yeah.
The best park I've ever rope dropped was Animal Kingdom. Because the way they did rope drop, a parade friggin' led you into the park.
Yeah.
Like, that was awesome. But
was that like right when they first opened?
It was around the time of the Jammin' Jungle Parade, because it was those floats they used.
Yeah.
But a parade led you into the park, and I'm like, this is pretty cool. This feels like a celebration. Magic Kingdom, I've stood on Main Street and watched the running of the bulls, because rope drop means nothing in the Magic Kingdom. There are tons of people there before it opens.
It used to be awesome with the characters in front and everything. With everyone on the train station, it used to be special. And the bang going off when they finally opened, which scared the heck out of me when I had only worked nights for so long. What was that? First, that was them opening the park. Oh, that's right. The park opens now. Jeez. But yeah.
I always thought Animal Kingdom opened up with the theme song, Circle of Life.
Yeah.
Every morning they should just do that. Like, you just walk in and it's like, Festival of the Lion King right there at the gates, and you just walk into Circle of Life. That would be cool.
That would be. When you go to Disney, and I keep meaning to pull up the article here, so I have more of these incorrect tips. But what common tips do you guys hear that are just wrong? I know a big one is, and this comes from, most of these tips, I will say, come from the diehard Disney people to the Joe Sixpacks. And a lot of us diehards can't fully grasp or understand that Joe Sixpack is not a diehard Disney fan.
Mm-hmm.
telling them, yes, oh my God, you absolutely need to ride Rise of the Resistance. You can't go and not ride Rise of the Resistance. That's just not true.
Yeah.
Especially if they're not a Star Wars fan. Like,
I was just gonna say, I mean, like, yeah, I guess it could. I mean, with a shade of gray, could maybe get someone to be interested in Star Wars. But then I'm thinking of it going, no, that whole land is like, it's like going to Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Like, it's kind of the same thing. Like, if someone's like, oh, if you go to Universal, you have to do Harry Potter. It's like, what if you're not into the books, or if you've never seen? Like, my parents have. Now, granted, my mom would love to go see the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, just to kind of experience it, but she was never really into the books. She's only seen maybe like the first 2 movies, and that was it. Like, she doesn't really know the story, but she's like, yeah, it looks really neat. Like, I wouldn't mind checking it out. But you're right, it's kind of the same thing. It's like, unless you are like a diehard Harry Potter fan, you don't have to go to Universal to just do Harry Potter.
Not everyone's a Disney, and I've had this even when I was down there working. There's not everyone's a Disney person. There's people who aren't, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in actually, along those lines, a lot of bad tips, false tips I've heard, usually come back to, you have to do this. This is the order you got to go in. My favorite is, oh no, you have to go to Adventureland when you start your day. You can't go to any other area of the park. You must start at Adventureland. But
I've heard that too.
Yeah, there was a time when that was more true just because of crowds and lines. But again, this comes back to, that's great, but what if they go to Adventureland, but they don't want? Okay, but they have little kids, and the little kids don't want to go to Adventureland. They want to go to Fantasyland. Gonna have to stand those couple of those lines, people.
Yeah.
Oh, the other tip I like. Oh, there's plenty of go to guest relations. There's plenty of things you can do to not stand in line.
no, there's not.
It's a theme park. You have to stay in the line, kids. Sorry, that's the name of the game.
The plenty of things means get on your phone and, by God, please pack portable batteries, because those phones do die very quickly at Disney.
Very, very quickly. And there was a time I remember getting the advice: start left, start with Adventureland. But Disney knew at this time nobody went there. And Jungle Cruise didn't open till 10.
Mm-hmm.
Like, half the land didn't open.
And now if you look at the wait times, it's almost better to end it in Adventureland, because everyone goes to Jungle Cruise first thing in the morning. Like, their wait times, it's ridiculous. I've never seen wait times so long for Jungle Cruise.
And
like, I think average wait time is like 110 to 130 minute wait.
I am going to give bad advice, but I am going to couple it with, if you are the type of person that has been to Disney several times, not your first trip, not a normal day guest at Disney, someone that goes there somewhat regularly, you have to do Jungle Cruise in the dark. It is a different experience.
It is.
And I don't want to say you have to, but you should. You really should try to
always
do
it. At least one time.
You should do a lot of attractions at night if you've never done them at night. That have an outdoor element, but go on.
That and the safari are like perfect nighttime attractions.
Mm-hmm.
So you have that, and no, you don't have to take the monorail. You don't have to take the monorail to go faster. You don't have to take Disney transportation to get to the parks faster, period. Driving will tend to be faster.
Mm-hmm.
And no, you don't have to, the moment the fireworks finish, turn and run for the exit. In fact, unless it's a hard close or something for some reason, go back in the park and take your time, folks. You're not going to move any faster. You and thousands of your very best friends are trying to do the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, this is one tip that I've kind of told guests too, where it's like, I usually recommend at least 2 days at Magic Kingdom. That way, like, one day you can at least enjoy the fireworks one time. But then I'm like, if you guys like riding the rides more, it's actually, in my opinion, better to catch that last call on any of the rides at nighttime while the fireworks are going off, because by the time you get off that ride, like for example, Big Thunder Mountain, which is on the other side of the park, get on that, watch the fireworks on the ride, and then as you're walking out of the park, everyone's already gone. There's no one around. You know, it feels like you have the whole theme park to yourself, and you can just take amazing shots of the castle right before closing.
Yeah, and it's just take your time. Don't try to cram everything in one day. There's so many people that I will see. They will be planning a week-long Disney vacation and buy a 4-day park ticket. Maybe they'll add on the water parks and more option and do Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach one day. And I just sit there and go, by the point you're past 4 days, the incremental cost of more days, that's where it really hits almost inconsequential for Disney. Like, the ticket prices per day plummet. You should give it a try. Do 2 days in most of the parks. You will enjoy yourself way more. You can do 2 days in Animal Kingdom.
Your budget time, you can still move around. You're allowing yourself extra time for a break, for an extra snack, sit down, rest, back to the hotel. You also allow yourself for an attraction to go down. Force the thing you can't predict or come up with. I need to sit down for a minute. I'm not feeling good. You budget 2 days, allows you much more relaxation. I have done 90% of Disney World in 3 days. 4 parks, 3 days. And trust me on this. And that was a couple years ago now. You had to hustle. I had to plan. I had to map out, okay, using extra magic hours before, after, everything. It required such intense planning. If one little hiccup happened, which it did, something went out the window.
That happened to me too. My goal was to get 4, because I was down there for the social media blitz back in September, and Disney only paid for, it was basically 2 days in Disney. My goal, it was a crazy goal to hit. It was 4 parks in 2 days, and I can only have done 3 out of the 4. I didn't make Animal Kingdom. I missed out on that because my goal down there was to basically do 2 days at Star Wars Land. Like, that was pretty much all I wanted to, let me cheat. I did cheat a little bit because I got there a day early. So I did go to Magic. I spent a little bit extra money out of my own pocket to go to Magic Kingdom that day, just because I got there a day early. The park's just recently, by the time I got there, it was like, I would say it was close to, after security, I'd say it was about 1:30, 2 o'clock. So it was almost like I kind of paid for like a half day in a sense, but it was worth it because I was at Magic Kingdom. Like, it was like, to me, it was like, okay, I'm kicking off this little thing with it. But let me tell you what though, like, during those 6 hours that I was there, man, was I booking it to the point where like, I basically went off, because this was before the Genie Plus went live. So it was it was open season. There was no fast passes except virtual queues for it was just Rise of the Resistance was the only one, that or Slinky Dog Dash? No, it was just Rise of the Resistance. It was just Rise, yeah. Because Ratatouille didn't even open up yet. We were trying to sneak into Ratatouille. They were trying to get us in, but they were like, no, it's only for annual pass holders. And that was I should have took pictures of that. You want to talk about a shit show? That was a nightmare. Seeing the annual pass holders coming into Ratatouille with their pamphlets and like telling them, and the line was just coming out the gate in Paris. Like, people were trying to like sneak in. It was crazy.
When they do preview lines like that, even if it's for annual pass holders, they have to close the line when it's leaving the building, or else you will be getting too many non-invited guests. Like, you can't have it snaking anywhere outside of the main queue. You have to be able to gate it off and have that cast.
What they were most likely doing was not using the full queue, and that was probably the problem. Because the last one I did as a cast member would have been, I guess Midway Mania. I did other things down there. The second, it would have been Midway Mania. But that line did not leave the front of that attraction. Like they never. That's what I'm going to say. That I'm like, they must either they had too many people in that queue and you should shut it down, or they
Right.
probably weren't using the whole queue, which is shame on them. Again, gotta test these things for a reason.
Yeah, and I was down there a week before, but still though it was crazy. So like when the social media blitz days took off, essentially after that first day at Magic Kingdom, it was like, okay, I have to pick and choose because most of the people were going to Mickey's Boo Bash, and they're like, oh, tickets are still available, and they wanted us to promote like the Boo Bash, but I'm like, I haven't been down here in like 5 or 6 years because we've been going to Disneyland, up until she had her stroke. So it's like it's been at least 5 or 6 years since I've been to Walt Disney World, and more than that. So Star Wars Land, I really want to do like Avatar and Star Wars Land, but I was like, Star Wars was like, that was my thing. Like I needed to experience this. So we, my roommate and I went down, and the ride broke down. So, we left the park. I wanted to go back because I felt like I was like, look, if it's still broken down, then I'll get a ticket for Mickey's Boo Bash and just buckle over to Magic Kingdom again. So the ride was in operation. So I went back to Hollywood Studios and I had a me day at the park by myself, and it was fun. I mean, the lines at Hollywood weren't that bad at all because it was just a virtual queue for rides. So we're talking like maybe 10-minute wait for Star Tours. Smuggler's Run was maybe 30, 45 minutes.
Remember,
max.
Back then when they did the visual queue, after that second set went, if people didn't get it, it was an exodus from the park.
Yeah.
People just left in droves. They just said, oh, I didn't get a Rise of Resistance. I've done everything else for the day. Goodbye.
Yeah. So, but then the next day was even crazier because what did we do? Oh, we did Magic Kingdom and Epcot in one day. That was nuts. That was crazy. So yeah, or did we do Hollywood Studios? I can't remember. All I know is I hit 3 parks in 2 days, and one was not Animal Kingdom.
That's it's just a lot of stuff. It's too much.
Yeah.
Take your time. Take a break. Relax.
It's supposed to be fun. I rush around like a madman. I enjoy that. That is me having fun.
Yeah.
Now, Doza, did you get a park hopper when you guys are going down?
Annual pass holder.
Oh, that's right. That's one of them. Duh.
No, I have an AP. I have a year-long park hopper.
Hopper, that's right. You can just park. Yeah. Because we got that too. So what we're doing is, and I think I told you guys this on the last podcast, we got a 5-day park hopper plus option. So we're actually splitting up where we're doing like 3 parks back to back, and then off Saturday, Sunday when the crowds are going to be massive on the weekends, and during Saturday and Sunday we'll probably, we haven't decided yet if we're going to do Blizzard Beach or no, Typhoon Lagoon. Blizzard Beach is not
can't
open
do Blizzard
yet.
Beach.
Can't go to Blizzard Beach, just Typhoon Lagoon. That, or even just do miniature golf. Like that's one thing that I haven't even done yet is I've never done the Fantasia miniature golf course or the sand, whatever the summer holiday golf course. Like I've never played miniature golf on Disney property.
Those are always fun. I enjoy all the mini golf courses down there are a good time.
Yeah.
What I will add, as I don't know if we could call this a good tip, a bad tip, or something that should be avoided, but if you are the type of person that the first day of your vacation you have to do Magic Kingdom, then take a non-traditional week. Go Wednesday to Wednesday.
That's what we're doing. Now, when you say first day of vacation, do you mean as soon as you fly in, check into your hotel, hit the ground running, or the first full day, like the next day?
The first park you attend.
Yes.
Okay.
If the first park you go to has to be Magic Kingdom, you don't want that to be a Saturday or a Sunday.
No. Yeah, go on like a Wednesday.
That's what everybody who just gets there wants to just go to the Magic Kingdom first. It might be slightly skewed now for Rise of the Resistance. I'm not going to deny that possibility. But also a lot of the day guests who live in a lot of the Floridians who come up just to take their kids in for the day will go to Magic. Like it just historically has higher crowds on the weekends.
Yeah.
More so than the other parks.
Until May 27th comes around.
No.
It'll still be higher.
Really? Really?
Magic,
You think so?
Yes, Matt, because you're counting the people who are going to Magic Kingdom first, for the most part, are the people who are going to be riding Cosmic Rewind. They want to go to Disney. It's a big thing. Disney with the castle. They didn't want Disney with the ball. They didn't want Disney with the tower. They didn't want Disney with the animals. They wanted Disney with the castle. And you'll get that as, where's the castle?
I can also tell you, it's a little hard to convince a 3-year-old you're at Disney when you have yet to see the castle.
True. It's yeah.
When you start your trip at Epcot.
This is going back to 2008. I had somebody holding a Universal map at Animal Kingdom asking me where Shamu was.
I really hope they were trolling.
You should have said, 30 miles north of here.
They were not trolling. This was a very confused tourist.
As a legit guest who just tends to look like somebody that knows Disney in my Castaway Key Hawaiian shirt, my Tiki Room hat, my lanyard with 300 pins on it. Like, okay,
first day here ever.
I look like somebody who knows Disney well. I had several people in line ask me, well, how do I get to Harry Potter? You get in your car and you drive 20 minutes to Universal.
Or here's the question I've gotten, and I get it. I mean, because of, Disney buying Marvel, but I've gotten people messaging me down in the parks going, so where do I find Spider-Man? And I'm like,
he's at Disneyland.
I'm like, because I've friends of ours are going down in July, and they're just like, we couldn't decide if we want to do Disney or Universal. The boys really love Spider-Man, all the characters, but we feel like there's nothing because they're still they're little. They're like 6 and how old's Jude and Killian? Yeah, 6 and 4 are their boys' age.
Yeah.
But they're really big into Marvel superheroes. And we told our friend, I was like, look, Amanda, I'm like, unfortunately, I mean, there's really nothing those kids can enjoy at Universal. I was like, if you really want to see the Marvel characters, you would have to go out to California for Disney. And she's like, well, why? And I'm like, well, there's this contract.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward right there. And, I'm sorry, people. There is a minimum amount of research you have to do before you go. And I'm not even talking die hard. You need to know what to ride. No, you at least need to know
you have to research.
There are different parks and what's in each park.
And it's not even the parks. I mean, we can do a whole nother questions about food with reservations for dining. I mean, how many times have people said, oh, when you go to Disney, you have to do Chef Mickey? I mean, nothing against...
I've heard that a million times. I have people telling me that now.
There's a laundry list of, you have to go to Chef Mickey, you have to go here, you have to sit here during the fireworks. Roll eyes.
The best spot for the fireworks is in zone blah, 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 blah. And it's and there's no other better viewing point from that. Everyone has they all have their best viewing point of the fireworks. It's can you just enjoy the moment and not have to what if you find something that you enjoy that someone, I don't know,
I like obscure views of the fireworks as long as I've seen them before.
Here's a spoiler. There are no good views that are not paid for the Epcot show.
Right.
For Harmonious. There are no perfect views. Everything has a tree in the way.
Yeah.
Every single one, there is a tree in the way. Because
it is
terribly designed for that.
Also with Harmonious, wind. You can't predict, you can't account for wind. More than any other show, Epcot, because of the way Epcot works, wind is your enemy. You could have the best spot in the house. Wind changed direction 2 minutes beforehand. That spot's over.
Yeah.
People just there is nothing you have to do.
Right.
You have to go have fun.
Yep.
So you have to have a good time. If you have to enjoy it, if you didn't enjoy it, you may not be a Disney person. And if you're not a Disney person, there's nothing wrong with that. All
Right.
good, Kemosabe, but we do hope you go and have fun. That's the whole thing.
That's the one thing. Yeah, that's the one thing you have to do is just have fun.
Yes, and
Patient pants. Wear your patient pants.
Run in the rain. Trust me. Yeah, you're wet. So is everyone else. Just run around in the rain when it rains. Make the best of it.
so speaking, since we've talked a lot about the diehard Disney fans, I want to pull up a picture that your casual Disney fans will not get. You guys will understand why it's a big deal. And then why I'm slightly miffed about the decision of where they appeared.
Go on.
I'm
Wait. Oh. Society of Explorers and Adventurers?
Where are they?
That's the Adventurers Club, and that, as evidenced by the tutu running shoes and outfit, is during the Tower of Terror run.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
And if you don't know, because it's one of the few things I can say I've done that's like an actual accomplishment, I have done a half marathon at Disney.
Yeah, that's
And
on my bucket list.
They really do pull out all the stops. There's all sorts of cool things that go on during your run. But if you're not a particularly fast runner, you can't really enjoy them because you can't stop. You're like, I'm already at the minimum time I need to be. Like it. But what annoys me, I am all happy to bring them out. I would like them to be at things that aren't races, because I get it. The people that run Disney races are typically heavy Disney people and will understand the references. That's the perfect spot for it, because your average day guest will not understand who those people are. But you're really limiting the crew of people who want to run for 5 hours of their day. I've done it. I don't ever want to do it again.
I'll say this. To run Disney has such a following. It is fantastic for them. I can't believe. I have friends who do it religiously. They also work for a lot of them work for the company. That's beside the point.
Yep, that's also true. And since we touched briefly on the Avengers campus, have you seen like the badass characters they're rolling out for that?
Like what, Moon Knight?
Zombie Cap?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Can you feel a good Halloween event coming to Avengers campus?
Halloween event or just Halloween character overlay as well. I mean, because you could do now with Avengers Campus, you could easily do an entire California Adventure Halloween overlay. They already have Cars Land with their Halloween overlay. I think Pixar Pier, they might do like trick or treat type stuff on the boardwalk overlay for the Halloween. I think
but that's pretty cool. And that Moon Knight, I think looks better than the Moon Knight in the show. Now, granted, we saw him for all of 5 seconds, but
true. Bruce, have you watched it?
Moon Knight?
Yeah.
Waiting for more episodes to
Bruce is a solid 4 episodes before he watches anything.
I am. Unless it's something I really, really feel compelled to watch to an extent, I gotta have at least 4 episodes, because those 4 episodes are gonna go down fast. Then I'm gonna catch up week to week. But I like to have something solid to sink my teeth into.
So, and I will get into shows later because I do have some Halo theories, but that's completely different franchises for later in Nerd Fighteria portion.
There you go. We start strong and then we just lose them at the end.
Yes. I do really want to touch on, though, we got some things that have been announced as returning and things that the murmurings are happening that they're coming soon. We have the Hoop-De-Doo review returning in the imminent future.
Oh, hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Which, that's one of the best shows in Disney. If you've never seen it, you really should try if you go multiple times. If it's your first time in Disney, it's a bit of a hike. It takes you out of the park for your night. Like, it's shooting a night in the foot. I can understand not wanting to do it on your first trip, and I would not even recommend you do it on your first trip unless you are staying at the campground. Because it's a bit of a nightmare to get to and from. But if you have the time, it's worth it. It's a great show. The ribs are good. The beer is good.
The fried
ribs,
chicken.
Oh, that
The mashed
buffet.
potatoes, the
There's
cornbread.
not enough I can say about that buffet. That's why Trails End's the best. Same food without the show, but I love the show. And that all you can, the sangria is fantastic. All you care to enjoy the food. All you care to enjoy the entertainment. All you care until it ends.
Now I'm trying to remember, how far is it from Fort Wilderness Lodge?
You can't walk it.
No.
Okay.
Which, speaking of walking, I'm bouncing back to the transportation stuff.
Yeah.
There's the myth that walking is faster than taking the Disney transportation, like from from certain parks,
Right.
or walking your way around the lagoon. That lagoon's big.
What?
Real big. Yeah,
Wait.
I've heard that one.
7
Walk
Seas
your way.
Lagoon?
Yeah.
Not the lagoon. We're not talking about the same. You're talking about Epcot Lagoon, right?
No,
We're
I'm
not
talking
about-
Seven
No,
Seas
he's talking-
Lagoon.
No, you're not talking Seven Seas here. I know you're not talking that.
Look, the only place I would recommend walking from is if you're at Contemporary.
Until recently, you were able to walk the lagoon. There was not an option to do safely.
Yeah, because now they have the walking path with what?
Yeah.
Grand Floridian, Polynesian. Yeah.
That was the big problem with the 40th. People were walking the lagoon and almost getting hit by cars. It was a bad thing. But yeah, I know. Walking, yeah, okay. Walking's great. Here's what you want to do at Disney. More steps.
What I will say, it's not fast. And from Epcot to Hollywood Studios, I have not taken the Skyliner, but I do remember back in the days of the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And I paced myself against a boat. I looked at the boat. I remembered which boat it was. I remember the name. We left at the exact same time. We arrived at the exact same time.
Huh.
So it's literally the same amount of time. It's how frustrating you find that boat ride. Because the boat from Epcot to Hollywood Studios has to be one of the most annoying things to ride. Because you start out, and then you stop. And then you move like 5 feet and stop again. And then you do this weird backwards turn and stop again. Like you're just stopping and you're like, can you just like make these people walk a little bit? Like, who really needs to take the boat from Boardwalk to Epcot?
Oh, no. No.
Like, there are people that do it.
No choice. That's part of the route.
Why? It's like a 5-minute walk from the boardwalk to the Epcot.
That is it's legit faster. If the boat is not there ready to load, or you're going to be more than one boat, yes, it's probably faster to walk, but it's the same time. If you like walking, walk. If you like sitting, sit. It depends how your day's been going, what the weather is.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So do that. And back to stuff returning. Casting has begun for the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique.
There you go, Dozer. There you go. That's where money's going to be going.
Bibbidi bobbidi booyah.
One, if casting has begun, it's not going to be for my May trip.
Yeah, no.
And, okay, so maybe my November trip, we'll be able to Bibbidi Bobbidi it for the girls. They'll love it. They'll be cute. But Bella's going to be cute anyway, because we have a lovely cast member coming to our room to do her Bibbidi Bobbidi experience. So
that's cool. That is cool that they can come to the hotel room to do it for you guys there.
Well, it's not Disney official.
Right.
But it works.
Yeah.
And
no, can moms do it too, or just little girls? Because you said the girls can.
12 and under. So my November trip, we're going with a larger family.
Oh, okay. I was thinking for some reason, I was like, wait, are they allowing moms to do it with their daughters?
No.
Because that would be fun.
Now
No.
In the grand scheme of things, moms are the one that gets screwed because the little girls can go to Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. For a long time, the little boys could go to Pirates League, though they've since gotten rid of that.
I was like, do you remember that?
That was just glorified face painting. Like that was that was a bit of a stretch. The Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, I understand.
Not glorified face painting. It was face painting, put an eye patch, here's a sword. I dub thee pirate, goodbye.
Yeah, but I called it glorified because it's Disney priced.
Yeah.
The men, we got the Harmony Barbershop. It's still on my bucket list to get my haircut at Harmony.
Same here, the one on Main Street. When is that slated to reopen?
Well, you work there.
I was in a pinch. Yeah, I was in a pinch the one time, and I needed a DLG haircut.
And I have not done it, but Bella's done it. She got her first haircut at Harmony Barbershop. And fun fact, we are fairly certain that her barber from the Harmony Barbershop is the one coming to do her Bibbidi Bobbidi experience.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Though, her most recent deployment before this, according to her profile, was the Senses Spa. So, she is, they're all fully trained beyond what they're doing. So,
right.
It's well worth it if you can do it. Now, I want to touch on Horror Nights. I'm bringing up Horror Nights.
Gas.
What?
Gas.
Because if you need a celebrity house, Studio 666 is that house.
I thought Studio 666 was going, I thought for sure that was going to be, well, I'm glad it's not because it would no longer be happening, but...
Yeah. Rest in peace, Taylor.
Rest in peace, Taylor. I thought for sure, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this.
So, I am going to start off with, as I said on Such Good Shoot, the podcast about anything and everything wrestling, except last week because WrestleMania happened and we didn't want to talk about wrestling. We reviewed Studio 666, and I was not the biggest fan, but that was because it didn't hold my attention, because, as has been previously established on this show, I am not a horror movie person. It's horror comedy. It's good. The plot is a bit nonsensical.
Because all horror comedies always make sense.
That made more sense.
All right, time out here. Studio 666, is that the one that's the Choose Your Own Adventure?
No, that's the Foo Fighters.
This is Dave Grohl and
Dave
all
Grohl
the Foo Fighters.
Oh.
So, the acting is only somewhat decent because they're playing themselves. But it's pretty cringe at times, even then. It's a fun movie. There are some fun kills.
Well, horror comedy, you're here for the deaths. Most horror movies, you're here for the deaths. That's why we're here.
Just because it's one of the most memorable deaths, and it's the only one whose name I really remember. Taylor got his head cut off with a flying cymbal.
They showed that in the trailer.
May he rest in peace.
The one guy in The Next Door Neighbor got chainsawed in half while banging.
Oh, that's awesome.
Straight up from under the bed.
I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre too, folks.
And in probably the most telegraphed death in movie history, Pat got run over. Because they needed to jumpstart a van, and he got under it to hot wire it.
Oh my god.
You just literally sat there and went, he's getting run over.
Oh.
Who wrote, did the Foo Fighters write this movie?
Yes.
I believe so.
That's awesome. What network is it on? Is it on Netflix or is it?
It's to buy and rent currently.
Or have somebody who has a Plex account that may or may not load things that are legal to own.
Or is it on Shudder? Is it on the
hard?
It's not on Shudder yet. It is currently only to buy and rent. It will be places soon.
Okay. This sounds
believe
like
me,
something
I will let you know where it is when it is.
Yeah.
It's on my radar of things to watch.
So is this a house set or is this a speculation house?
No, this is not a speculation house. What he's referring to, I'm just going to jump on the Horror Nights here for a second. First off, we got dates. Dates are finally announced. Halloween Horror Nights 31 is happening. Oh, I have extra news here. Oh, I actually have good things here. So some good things for it. So HN31 is happening. Tagline, once again, is never go alone. Like last year, but they've already put preview merchandise out. Somebody might have purchased the ornament because they have no self-control. But we have dates, I believe it's September 2nd to the end of October. What Joe's referring to, and most people's fears are looking, the weekend's at least playing into it, is that a rumored house for both coasts is the weekend. Now, again, he may just be doing the music. Slash twice has done houses at Hollywood. One was a clown house and one was the Universal Monsters where he did the music. But Billie Eilish was supposed to have the house that got scrapped because blah, blah, blah. COVID, and then she was changing her look, supposedly, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. The weekend was tweeting out things and Horror Nights liking, so people think maybe we'll see what's gonna happen there. But good things forever. One of the mainstay house locations was in the disaster queue. Fast and Furious happened, that went away. They're building something behind Fast and Furious. There's a structure going up. There's things blocking views. It is believed because with the announcement of the event, we are confirmed 10 houses, 5 scare zones, 2 shows. We'll get there in a second. So we are now 10 houses where Shrek supposedly, we got to assume Shrek going down. So 10 houses, we have 9 locations. Without Shrek, where are we putting the 10th house? That looks like to be the option, even though the rumor is Shrek still may house one, depending on what goes on with building. But that was the initial rumor, but it's looking mighty true that once again the disaster queue, Fast and Furious, whatever the heck you want to call it, will once again has a house. Very excited about that. Speaking of shows, now there are 2 confirmed shows. The early hope is Bill and Ted. Here's what we know from early speculation. We can assume one will be the Marathon of Mayhem. They consider that a show. It's the Lagoon show, the projection thing. It's cool. First year was great. Last year, not as good as the first year. Could it be Bill and Ted? The question is where you're putting them. Time will tell. AOV and them had a fallout I know of. Don't think it's going to be Academy of Villains, so buckle up. The announcements are expected to come any day now. Now that we're in April, there are constructions full tilt, so an announcement could be imminent at any moment. I'd expect the first one to probably be the weekend if that's true.
What do you think they're going to do for like a big IP announcement as their first house? What do you think it's going to be?
I thought it was going to be. The way they're going, I think, especially if it's going to leak, I think it's going to be the weekend. If not, of what they have listed, honestly, Evil Dead.
I'm based off the thing that I sent you like last week. I have a feeling it's going to be Scream. I think they're gonna kick it off.
Here's the thing: it's not on the speculation map. I think we would have already known if it was Scream. And again, I know what you say. 2 things with that. One, that it looked like Scream. The announcement and tease looked like Scream. Also, with the final announcement of Never Go Alone, that wallpaper matched Bly Manor's almost perfectly.
Yeah.
Bly Manor. Oh. Could be Fear Street. Fear Street could also be the first announcement. Bly Manor is not on a speculation. Again, speculation maps aren't 100%. I've thought maybe Scream. We've gone down this road before. I refuse to get my hopes up. I will not believe it. They actually have to announce it. I need to see artwork. I need to basically go, I won't believe it until I step into the house proper.
All I can say this much is I've been starting my Scream marathon again. I just rewatched the first Scream, and my God, I enjoy that movie so much. That first movie is just like.
Yeah, but did you go? What would it have been? I guess 25. I would think it would have been. It was 25. To go 25 anniversary.
I'm trying to remember. Was that the movie theater? Was that the Usher?
No. No. Usher was there, but he was not. Now, Usher would have been Rip from the Silver Screen. That would have been 19. 25 would have been Jack's Anniversary, Monsters and Mayhem, Body Collectors, Insidious.
No, I wasn't at that one.
They did the House of the Purge. It was Scream. You walk through the very first room. Jeffy popped there. There's a phone next to it. Person was outside. It was Scream. The house was Scream. It's a known fact. They built the house. It was done, and a Scream could be purged. They had to. The people walked through and said, "No, this has to be themed to the movie." The house is built. That's not possible. Well, right. You can't. It was on artwork. Scream was everything. It was on the shirt. It was on the artwork. It was everywhere. They pulled it and threw in the purge because it was an easy overlay. Everything. This Scream was all over everything. Bedroom scene with prom queen written on the back wall. That's why I won't do it. I won't get my hopes up again because I love those movies. If you haven't seen the new one, it's fantastic. It's so good.
And that's why I'm rewatching all the Scream movies because I'm like, it's on Paramount. They have the whole thing on Paramount Plus, and even the new one is like free on Paramount Plus. I'm like,
and I recently watched all of them in order because why not? They're amazing movies. I love Scream. I can't help it.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I just rewatched the first one. I was like, God, I love that whole twist at the end where it's like her ex. Spoilers. It's her boyfriend and their Matthew Lillard's character. I forget his name.
Stu Macher, Billy Loomis.
Right, yeah. Jamie Kennedy's like greatest performance ever too.
That's my update for Horror Nights. To answer your question, Brian, what I really hope the first announcement is, if Last of Us is coming, just rip the Band-Aid off and let me know. Don't play games with my emotions here, because it's going to be themed to the game. Don't do that. Don't play with me like that.
They're going to play with your emotions.
Oh, it's not. I don't actually think it's happening. I truly don't. We'll see.
So, since we talked about games, I am going to bring up my couple-minute talk on Halo.
Please, I'm excited for this.
Bruce does not care too much about spoilers, and we're 2 episodes in. There's not much to spoil.
No.
Is Master Chief the main character?
Debatable.
You know what? Joser, honestly, based off the 2 episodes, I'm not actually sure about that answer.
No,
I'm joking.
I think he is. It's firm. And what I will say, I appreciate the changes from the main canon, because if you don't know, this is not the same canon as the games. Thank God, because they don't have to try to shoehorn it in. And one of the things that's different is, well, Master Chief takes his helmet off, and throughout the entire second episode, he basically doesn't put it on.
Yeah.
But what part of that comes down to is, if you've played the newer Halo games, particularly 4 and 5, Magic Kingdom Railroad.
Now boarding track number 1 on our trip around Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom. All aboard.
You know that as they're going through this, they have to humanize him more. That's just something. You're not going to get this stoic, non-speaking guy. And you always knew the helmet was going to come off more.
Because you're not playing a game and you don't have a reason to have the helmet on all the time.
And they're playing more into the expanded universe where he keeps his helmet off a lot of the time in that. But also, they've been speaking a lot more how the augmentations have screwed with his perception and ability to feel. And some of those are actually within the suit. So whenever you see him making decisions that are not in accordance with UNSC guidelines or protocol, he takes the helmet off.
Yeah.
And there is there is a pivotal scene, and it's very, very subtle, and I want to thank YouTuber Halo Cannon for really pointing this out. Towards the end of episode 2, when he puts his helmet back on to follow orders, you see him kind of go from like a more of a slouched position to putting it on, and like it's the Master Chief pose.
Yeah.
He is back like full, like you could tell it did something. It realigned him. It took away something from him.
I kind of like that. I think that's pretty cool.
So,
I never noticed that. Yeah, you're
it's
right.
very, very subtle. But if you look at it, you see that change. And the difference is he does take his helmet off more than the Mandalorian, because there's a lot of complaints that this is the Mandalorian 2.0. I will continue to argue he was the Mandalorian before the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But that's not the weird thing. He takes the armor off in episode 2.
Yeah.
What does it look like without the armor? I have all sorts of, questions I never realized I had in my life until this very moment. What does he look like without the armor on? Is he muscular? Is he skinny? Is he? He can't be fat to fit in that. All the questions I have.
He's toned. I mean, the actor did do physical fitness for this role, so that he is fit.
He's essentially a Marine, of course.
Yeah, he's a Marine. But the thing is, I think the one thing I do like about this Halo show is that they do make him more human. It's not just this, like, when you played the game Master, okay, yes. I remember Halo 1, I remember Halo 2, I vaguely remember Halo 3, and then after that it's just been a blur. So
it's a mishmash of games.
Right. So all I remember is just the suits, and just like, what did he look like underneath the suit? So to me, part of it is like, man, I do wish the show was more like the video game, but then you're right at the same time. I do like where the show is going to be its own thing.
History has told us that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Plus, another thing to think about. When he has the helmet on, and he is essentially a robot for the UNSC.
Right.
The entire time in the game, you're controlling him.
Mm-hmm.
When he is not listening to orders, when he is disobeying and his helmet is off, no one's controlling him. That's why it's always on in the game.
Ooh, oh my, I like this. Oh, there is thought put into this. I like this.
Now, I'm going to touch a little bit on deeper lore here, because there is a human in the Covenant, and this has people really bothered.
A human in the Covenant?
Yes. And
I wanted to ask you about that.
So,
interesting.
A lot of the Halo focus channels are saying that this human will be playing the role of the Arbiter.
Oh, okay.
I disagree.
Oh.
Okay.
I disagree. We've seen the Arbiter in the show. It is not her. But, and yes, we got Halo nudity. That was unexpected.
Hey, welcome. New medium, new planes to travel.
But what she is she is the analog for mendicant bias. So if you know Halo lore, they had a shard of mendicant bias on High Charity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what kind of guided the prophets through all the relics of the Forerunners. Okay, explaining advanced Forerunner AI in a TV show is a little bit complicated. It's a little bit complicated in books and lore. So, have a human that can do it. That's where I see her role.
I like it.
But one of the biggest changes from the lore is, in the lore, all humans are reclaimers. They can all interact with Forerunner relics. The Covenant can. But in this, so far, only the Master Chief and her can interact with these Forerunner relics. And you can see how they're going about it, and how the analogs between her and the Arbiter are going to be similar too, because she is slowly beginning to question the Covenant. She much like the Master Chief, was taken at a young age. Like, she is the Master Chief Covenant style, just not super powered.
Yeah.
Right. Yin and yang.
But indoctrinated into the lore of the Covenant. And then in episode 1, you see her reading an obscure book. If you take the time and look up everything about the book, yeah, it's basically the Arbiter's plot line. You raised in this, and then you rebel against it, and okay, I see where they're going, but in episode 1 and episode 2, you keep seeing this one elite who ran away from the Forerunner object and then is tasked with getting it back and talking to the prophets. That's the Arbiter.
Yeah.
That's Thelvanum. You will see him again, and he will lead the Reach. He will lead the Covenant to Reach and destroy Reach. Spoilers. If you don't know, like, that's basic Halo. It's literally the first piece of Halo media ever put out is the book Halo: The Fall of Reach.
Yeah.
You can't spoil that this planet is going to be destroyed.
Destroyed, right. I will say this, Bruce. The first episode, though, the action sequences are badass.
Oh, they're perfect.
Oh, I'm sure they are. Listen,
Well,
I'm excited to
like,
watch.
Even like there was one moment where I was like, no way. That like so. I mean, we're talking like a millisecond. There's a POV of Master Chief in the helmet. And it's this little like homage of you playing the video game, and his shields go down, and you hear the beepingness like when you're. It's awesome. It is like
love it.
It's a split second, but
hey,
I'm like,
it's the Easter egg for fans to enjoy, but people who are new can also enjoy it as well. I love it.
There's a lot of little Easter eggs like that. So yes, you have the shield recharge, and it is the exact same sound effect.
I love it. Oh, I love
but
it.
The one that had me going, is they're in this location called the Rubble. I'm not going to explain more than that. It's a big place in the lore, but not. It's basically where it's the Mos Eisley of
big desert.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's not really a desert. That's magical because that word is not leaving us this year. But it's the Mos Eisley. It's this like cluster of asteroids all interconnected, and all these rebels and insurgents live there. But when the door opens to there, they play the sound effect of the Covenant doors opening from High Charity.
I've never noticed that.
And I just sat there and went, like, that's clearly not a Covenant door. Like, right. That made no sense. But hey, they had it. And, next episode we'll see Cortana. And they are really something you don't get as much in the game that is covered a lot in the expanded lore that you're getting is that, the UNSC is kind of evil.
They are very corrupt in this.
The downside is there is no separation between the UNSC and ONI. So in the games, ONI was the Black Ops. That was Halsey's department.
Right.
And they operated differently, and they were not called the UNSC. Whereas they're all just the UNSC. But they're evil. So watch it.
There's Silver Team. That's something interesting too. There's no red team or blue team. It's just Silver Team.
Well, that's because the other canon's the blue canon, where Master Chief's team is blue team.
Oh.
This is the silver canon, silver team. The other thing of importance, and it really makes me wonder if this will change when we get to the Fall of Reach, where this season is ending in one of 3 places. Either the Covenant arriving on Reach, the Pillar of Autumn arriving at the ring, or we're actually going to get to the ring and get to the end of Halo 1. Those are the 3 places it's going to go.
I think the series is going to end with the Fall of Reach. That's my prediction because they're slowly they're bringing that in.
My money is on the last scene of this, which technically they're at the same time, but also they're 3 months apart because slip space travel is not that fast. The last scene you're going to see is the opening scene from Halo 1. You're going to see the Pillar of Autumn come across the Halo ring.
Oh, that would be cool. And this whole
will be the last scene of this season.
That would be the last scene to set up a big season 2.
Yes.
You know what? That would be cool because then we're watching going, holy shit, this whole first season was a prequel to Halo 1.
Psst. Again, the first media was the fall of Reach,
Yeah.
which ended at that scene. Which,
Yeah.
oddly, this is pulling more from the book, The Cole Protocol. So, what I will bash them on this, because this is a piece of nerdism that they did not bring in. Okay. One Spartan has ever gone rogue in both lores, and that's Soren.
Mhm.
Soren 066 is his name. And in the end of the first episode, they reveal they have a protocol, the Soren Protocol, to deal with a rogue Spartan. More or less to kill a rogue Spartan. Why is this not Order 60? Why is this not Order 66?
That makes sense.
Or Order 066? Like,
Yeah.
come on! It's right there.
6-6, whichever way you want to slice it.
I'm like, come on, people. Especially because earlier in the episode, they reference Order 72. Like, clearly, they use orders and numbers. Like, it was given to you on a silver platter.
Everyone's inspired by somebody else. You know, that's
An oversight for sure.
But I will say, Dozer, would you agree that as a sci-fi show, this is actually really good?
Oh, it's really good. My biggest gripe is watch that intro again. The intro's awesome. But tell me, that does not feel like an early 2000s sci-fi show.
Yeah.
Like, you half expect it to go, Stargate.
Yeah. That
Like-
you're talking about the credits, like the opening credits?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, that pose, like, you expect to see that right as you come back from commercial.
Mhm.
On the syndicated version of the show, like,
Well, wait a minute. When did the first Halo game come out? Wasn't that 2001?
yes.
Well, then there you go. They're making the show feel like we're back in 2000. Maybe we're right. Maybe the show will end with the beginning of Halo 1, and the whole thing is like, wow, this is supposed to take place in like Y2K show.
It's gonna end at Halo 1, and then season 2 will be Halo 1, and then season 3 will be Halo 2.
And season 4 will be Halo 3.
And then it gets canceled after that.
Because no one wants to watch Halo 4 or 5. Then we get the spin-off ODST.
I was just gonna say that. So when does the ODST variant appear?
I don't know, but
after 4 seasons, the show will get canceled, and they'll do a spinoff of OST.
ODST will be the best. That would make a great show, honestly.
Excellent show. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they pull a Westworld on this, where instead of having Halo 1 out of nowhere, it's like Halo Season 1, Season 2, and then like Season 3 is Halo ODST.
Yeah.
Where Westworld just turned to Future World.
Go.
No, I was just gonna say, and I hate we lost Bruce.
What?
We lost your picture. There's no picture.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hear you, but the circle is like whenever you're talking, it pulsates. There's just a
What the heck? Hold, please.
We're holding. Don't worry.
All right. So anyway, I hate to say it, but I really do hope Steven Spielberg can come with some sort of check to the table with Paramount by saying, "What will it take to get this to the parks?" I'm telling you,
No.
I think they have something here, man. I really do.
It's not going to be good. Just like, don't get me wrong. A Warthog ride would be fun, but it's not happening.
I know, but
It's not coming to the parks.
Ryan, are you trying to wheel Halo into the park?
I'm just saying, like, I feel like there's something there.
I have tried this with certain video games for years. We can will it all we want. It ain't gonna happen.
I know.
Otherwise, this would be considered the sequel to the Mega Man section at a theme park.
Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me.
I, for years, have been willing Mega Man into existence. It never happened.
Or even hell, with Nintendo, who's to say they don't do a Samus attraction?
Ha! Ha! Ha!
You can't even make a Samus video game anymore.
This is true. This is true.
Ha! Ha! There's a greater chance of a Luigi's Mansion Haunted House of Horror Nights.
I just want to.
Dude, what are you doing, man? I'd have a blast in that. Can you imagine?
So would I, but there's a greater chance of that happening than Samus. Even though a Samus House of Horror would also be great, as I say that.
Well, I can't say it about Samus. I can say Captain Falcon has appeared in more Smash Brothers games than his own games.
Yes.
So
wouldn't that be cool for an attraction in Nintendo Land? Super Smash
why?
Bros.
So it could go half a mile an hour?
No. You go around beating your other friends up.
Oh, I thought you were talking F-Zero.
No, I'm talking about Super Smash Brothers as an attraction. You just go into a room. It's like an escape room. You and 3 other people, and you just grab random objects and just hit each other.
F-Zero as a launch roller coaster would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Do it up like the Ferrari coaster, where it doesn't necessarily go high; it just goes fast.
That's it. F-Zero's got to be about hairpin turns, taking them fast as hell.
Well, speaking of coasters, have we shared the big news about what's coming May 27th for people that are still
no, we have
listening?
not.
We've alluded to it a lot, but Cosmic Rewind has an opening date, supposedly.
Yeah. Allegedly.
I trust nothing.
We'll see.
I trust one thing. They won't test this, and it's going to have all sorts of technical hiccups.
Well,
yes.
I will say this. I had a Peter Griffin moment. Nothing against Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm sure this roller coaster will be fun. But did you guys see the promotional trailer? Did you guys watch that?
No, the only thing I've seen over and over again, I watched the clip of them testing the ride, which we saw years ago, by the way, but it's just the same clip of them testing the ride vehicles.
Disney released a quote-unquote trailer promotion video for Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. And there's one little thing in the video that I couldn't help but notice regarding a certain rodent's voice and how it doesn't sound anything like Bradley Cooper. And Bradley's not doing the voice of Rocket Raccoon in this, and it's noticeably different.
I think there's a reason for that.
We're talking Hermione Granger different here. I mean, there is a difference in voice. It's a lot higher pitched too.
I believe there's a reason for that.
Well, hey, you know what? We have the power of the internet.
Yep.
And it's 30 seconds.
I will. If you guys don't know the premise, I can give you the premise too. We'll watch it and I'll tell you the story.
Just play the clip.
Afterwards. Yeah, it's 30 seconds long.
Everything is disappearing. Our outpost on Earth, Zepcon, is in danger.
Hey, Quill, this thing is so broken. Quill, you seeing this? Quill! Well, you heard the lady. Get to Epcot. It's Save the Galaxy time. Again.
Well, there we go.
So I wasn't surprised to hear Ohio players love roller coaster. That just, it's a shoe, and that's like the perfect song to hear on the ride. But so the premise, and if the rumors are true, I'm very giddy to experience this. So it does tie into the universe of energy. You do travel back in time to the Big Bang Theory, and that's why there's the reverse launch, because you're going back in time. It's rewinding, everything's being erased, so they have to reset the past. Kind of multiverse of madness a little bit here, but apparently in the queue, Xandarians are going to have their own collection of stuff that they collected from Earth from 86 Epcot. So
it's just what they did out west.
So what they're going to have is like props from Horizons, World of Motion.
Oh man, are they going to have that effing octopus in this again? Ugh.
No, I think they're talking about more so of like the robot from the beginning of Horizons.
I trust nothing because the octopus is out west. If you didn't notice it, don't worry. Bruce did.
So I don't know. I think it would be cool in the queue to just see your pass, like the homage Easter eggs to
That
past
was
Epcot.
Yeah, that was a given. That was a guarantee.
So I think that is neat that they are kind of bringing back the past Epcot to this attraction and still honor Universe of Energy in a sense.
There's a lot of reasons that go into this. It could be a contract dispute. It could be, we know this is the last Guardians movie where the team is all together. This could be a multiverse. There's a lot of issues. There's a lot of things that go into this and why that's not Bradley Cooper's voice.
Well, there's also, they did the announcement. This is a big one too. There are no animatronics in this. So that concept art of people in the queue with Groot and Rocket by the ship, that's not in this.
But what I will say, so we did have the question, where was load and unload? They are separate areas.
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, given, yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
vastly
yeah.
separate.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
no, I knew that.
So, this supposedly has the entire layout, so I'm trying to pull it up.
Well, you had it there. I think that was it.
No, that was the layout of the queue.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I was watching. What's the guy from England?
DSNY.
Yeah,
That's literally what I'm pulling up here.
he had a good picture.
That's what you're looking at.
Yeah.
I can't make sense of it, but
It's color coordinated to go along with either spinning or show scenes.
So
or
I'm looking at
block
the
zones.
Block zones could be block zones. That's another good option here. Because we have seen pictures inside the building, and of course I'm extrapolating. I'm putting them to the side. Yeah, it fits. Okay.
It's like teal goes to blue, blue goes into purple,
Yeah. Mhm.
purple into pink, yellow goes into orange. But what's the bold purple section? Like there's
Again,
the one
that could be heavily screened areas. Those could be the show moments. We don't know. Those is right. This could be block zones. That picture is obviously not right.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure it
That's
out.
somebody. No, you know what that is? Somebody used Roller Coaster Tycoon too. Now here's the video. Okay, pause this video for a second here. It's hard to tell when this moves. I can't tell if this is pivoting at all on that. It's a little difficult. I don't think it is, but sometimes the angle that they're moving, because again, we've seen this for quite a while now, of them testing this particular ride system. I think this is going to end up being more like the Mummy in that sense that comparing a Mummy, like in the sense that when I say that, where you're moving around and looking at stuff, it's not necessarily Harry Potter screen section, move, screen section, story, where you're going to be looking at things as they yell things. Oh, watch out for this, watch out for that.
Right.
Not saying this is going to be either of those. Excuse me. This is going to be its own attraction. I think it looks fantastic. But again, I cannot harp on this enough. Yeah, saw this too.
Yeah, well, this footage all exists out there.
Yeah.
We're just.
Oh no, I'm saying this stuff we've seen in the past too. I cannot stress enough that I truly believe Disney's going to bungle the opening of this, because I do think it's going to have issues that they are not ready for. I don't care how much you test this with water dummies, it just not the same as regular guests. And that's what I think separates the Universal here from Velocicoaster. They like hell test the Velocicoaster with people. And that got the team ready for it. Disney doesn't do that. They will never be ready for these full crowds.
And what has me concerned is with the timing that we all just got emails notifying us that soon we will be able to put in reservations for Annual Pass, DVC, Club 33 member previews.
D23 is also added in there too. They just added D23 gold members.
I think it's going to work on a priority system.
Yeah.
And one of them will get highest priority. Please be DVC. Well, could be DVC or Annual Pass. I don't care. I'll use either. But the big thing is, with that just going out, you got to figure we're 2 to 3 weeks away from them beginning those tests. That's like a month from the opening of the ride. There's not going to be a general public test, I feel. General public soft open. I think it's going to be the invited soft open, then go straight into the main opening.
Which is
And-
what they did with Ratatouille too.
And the real issue with that is these are also the people that ride the most rides, that can figure out a more complicated loading system.
And you're just not going to have the same crowds. A Ratatouille is not a roller coaster. This is a strike. You need to test the cast members' ability to run people through this, checking the harness, checking everything.
It's a big deal, and it's not easy to run these things quickly. And even though I completely understand these are completely different circumstances, but there are going to be extra eyes with that death right down the road
Oh,
from the
yeah.
Lone Tower.
Yeah.
What?
You didn't hear about that? There was like a, what,
Kid
14
fell off, drop tower.
Well, no. Those are two very different situations here. Completely different. They fucked up on that. That kid never should have been on that ride. I wouldn't have fit. Something
Bruce.
happened there.
Yes, you are absolutely correct.
Mhm.
Joe Sixpack don't care. Extra eyes are going to be on this. Because people are stupid and they don't grasp that people died on Verrucht because it's a terrible, terrible ride and should have never existed.
He didn't go to jail because of the Travel Channel. That man is a murderer is walking around because of the goddamn Travel Channel.
He killed less people than the guy who ran Action Park.
He decapitated a 6-year-old kid.
I know. I'm trying to make light of a terrible situation because it was a ride that never should have existed, especially in today's day and age. And it goes to show the general lack of regulation around water parks. Because there's a lot more testing and all that's done with these land-based rides and water rides. And it's sad.
Yeah, that's because they don't properly engineer them, and the list
There's
goes
more
on.
variables and
Yeah, the fact that, just after the Orlando incident, I didn't know, you can't find who developed this drop tower other than luckily Dollywood closed drop line indefinitely until further notice. And that's how I was able to figure out who built this stupid thing.
And I just sat here and went, wait, people build these that aren't SNS?
Well, Intamin.
But literally, outside of those two, there are people that build these.
This is a company, they only do these thrill rides. In fact, the one is a bell. It's weird. It's a giant bell with a counterweight that it looks like it has a running capacity of like 8. It's weird.
Look, I'm just going to say it straight up. Theme parks in general need better regulations. It needs to not be at the state level, and it needs to not be done, because in way too many states it is done this way, by the Department of Agriculture.
What happened to a 14-year-old in Orlando is absolute tragedy beyond words. It's the worst nightmare of going to a theme park anyone could ever have. And my problem with it is I get angry when people talk about it because they misrepresent facts. This accident should never have happened. Unfortunately, they do. The Smiler is a nice famous one of none of that should have happened, but it did. This accident never should have occurred. And I hate this.
You can talk about what you want to talk about.
No,
what I was going to add is, unfortunately, because of the general low pay at theme parks, most of the ride-ups you'll see, especially at smaller theme parks, well, amusement parks. You're going to run into these teenage ride-ups. And they can't fully comprehend the level of care and the amount of no they have. Yeah. And I just think back to rather recently when somebody has decided to sue Universal because ADA acceptance, they weren't going to let this guy with no legs ride. And his whole thing was he's a bodybuilder. He has more strength in that little bit. And I sit there and go, yes, you do. You may actually be able to ride because you are built different. Whatever. The rules exist for a reason, and you can't make exceptions to those rules. The second you make an exception
Yep.
is when I think you have crossed the ADA's rule.
You have, in this particular incident, this reminds me of the incident that happened at at Holiday World years ago on I believe it was the Legend of the Raven. And all I'm going to say is this: I'm not trying to disparage. I'm not trying to pass blame. Somebody did something wrong. The person riding, I think, did something wrong as well. That's all I'm going to say. I'm a very large gentleman. I'm used to trying to squeeze onto these things. I saw the footage, saw him sitting in the chair. Something looked like he did something very wrong, and that, unfortunately, on the Legend, it cost her life. Yeah. Unfortunately, it added into this. But there's a lot that, not just he's not solely to blame. You're right. There's a lot what goes into an accident like this, almost like if somebody gets their foot cut off on a drop tower.
Yeah, or, I am wary of any water slide, because again, I'm harping on water slides because they have the weakest regulations.
Yeah.
They're the most dangerous.
And I've gotten to the top of them, and I worry anytime I get to the top and I see a scale.
Yeah.
Especially, I am not too concerned when they are weighing to make sure you're not too light. I am more concerned when they are weighing to make sure you are not too heavy. Because when you're dealing with weight, now you could also, your weight distribution, if you're close to that line, could be messing it up.
Yep.
And they don't always tell you the weight limit. Like,
Rarely.
If I'm coming to and you have a scale, that means you clearly have a safe parameter of a minimum and maximum weight. And yet, I don't think I've ever seen them posted on that little sign out front that tells you all the warnings of the ride. Don't ride this if you have a heart condition or whatever. I've never seen a weight posted there.
Occasionally, Dorney did. I think Volcano Bay may have a few. Like a certain ride you mentioned before had a weight minimum, and that was the problem.
Yeah.
And that's actually what led to that's what led to the fateful day that closed Verrucht forever and ruined a whole family's life.
Ruined a family's life, and that ride was not ruined forever. It should have never been built to begin with.
Well, it never should have been built. It was all bravado. Your bravado. Check your ego. Somebody who's currently not in jail who should be let his bravado talk and pushed everything through. And
because generally speaking, and there are a couple that exist, but generally speaking, you don't have parks building roller coasters without an outside company that just builds roller coasters.
Roller coasters, yeah.
That's not how it works with water slides.
And that's why Schlitterbahn at the time. That's why the name was. Things are being sold off because Schlitterbahn was building their own attractions.
And roller coaster mapping tools are so strong that even consumer grade tools that are mainly video games can get realistic physics, and you could actually tell if a roller coaster will work or not work in real life through consumer grade tools. Pro grade tools is a different level where you can specifically put different weights in different seats, and there's none of that for water slides.
In case some of you don't know, when the theme park opens during the day, a lot of theme parks people walk the track of roller coasters. They're looking for things. They test run. You test run rides. The same thing happens at a water park. You have to test, and people have to actually test run these water slides. Verrucht was so bad they were drawing straws to see what loser had to test drive it that day.
He wasn't even offering them $100 like they did for the loop in Action Park.
They
They at least got paid for that.
They got paid for that
Yeah.
torture because they knew 80% chance they weren't going through it. They would use the exit hatch. Yeah, Barack was so bad. It was, oh God, and people quit. I'm not testing that thing. You're out of your mind. What boat is it? I ain't going on that one.
Yeah, it's no. And also, if you don't know, roller coasters run different, hot and cold. And if you don't know, if they were to just load guests on the Top Thrill dragster and run it, it's not clearing that hill the first time. Guaranteed. No. Most of the time, it won't clear it empty first run. It's cold. The system has not calibrated yet for the day. Also, if the ride has to do a reboot while you're on it, you might not clear the tower when you finally get to ride.
Mm-hmm.
Which, on that one, just consider it a bonus. Because that thing is more safe backwards and forwards, actually.
It's a badge of honor to get a rollback.
Yes.
People dream of people dream of getting the rollback.
Like, come on, roll back.
Like, as far as coasters that can valley and roll and go backwards and stuff, Top Thrill Dragster and King Dakar are two of the safest to be on because the recovery is lean.
The only problem with them, and you're perfectly safe, but for folks who may not be aware of the physics and everything, those towers actually do have to move in order to not fall down.
Yeah.
Well, if you're stuck on top, you're going to feel every bit of that swaying. And you're perfectly safe, but you're right. If you can't lean and take care of it, they send someone up who says lean and pushes you.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
It's science.
But, one of the big issues, and still perplexed, why this exists on roller coasters. Why do we have block zones that cannot be automatically restarted at this day and age?
Preach! Those are saying for the people in the back.
And I will even let pass the fact that this happens on Space Mountain, but it's also the block zones where it can valley are labeled like true emergency block zones.
Yeah.
Only if life is in danger will those block zones actually engage. They build in an extra block zone so it can do that. Hagrid's can and regularly does valley at a non-recoverable spot.
Gee.
Brand new launch coaster that can valley.
Check the track. That'll give you all the answer you're looking for. Hate to say it that way, but it's true. Check the track.
But come on, people. What? It's a block zone that if it stops, congratulations, the entire ride has to be evac'd and will probably be closed for a couple hours as somebody recovers the train.
When you have certain egos, theme park companies have egos, ladies and gentlemen. And when you deal with a company who has an ego about maybe with another company you weren't happy to contract with, maybe B&M, maybe Intamin, just throwing two names out there. Who knows? Could be maybe B&M built Hulk, maybe Intamin built Hagrid. Just throwing that out there. Just food for thought.
Yeah.
But that's certain companies have egos, and unfortunately, sometimes their ego cashes.
And sometimes companies have egos that work in other ways. Magnum Force, Cedar Point, is notorious for cascading, which is when it hits several different block zones, and then if it gets two block zones locked up, the entire ride shuts down and it has to be a manual restart.
God bless you, Chance Morgan. We love you. Don't go away.
But this is actually done for a reason, because it keeps ride ops on their toes moving quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because the last thing they want to do is make that call for a manual restart, because that means they got to walk all the way out there and push it.
Yep.
Chance Morgan, we love you.
But it's an obvious choice. They made the choice. They have the space to not have another block zone. And they have fixed it since then. They've put tires. It can it can automatically recover now.
Ooh.
Novel concept.
Hey, listen, if it's going to happen anywhere at a roller coaster, it's going to be the point.
Oh, yeah. But also, yeah. I've been stuck on Space Mountain in several spots. I've been evac from Space Mountain.
I have never been evac from Space
Me
Mountain.
neither.
And
Me
frankly,
neither.
at my size, I think that's a good thing.
I would love, maybe not evac off of Space Mountain, but I've always wanted to at least be on the TTA and see the lights on in Space Mountain. I've never witnessed that yet.
I've been evac from space. I haven't been evac from space. I've been evac from Pirates. I've been evac from Splash.
Pirates, I have. Small World, I had to be evac off of Small World. That was, oh God, that was a nightmare.
So,
Mansion, we were close. We were very, very close on Mansion. I was on there once. We were pushing it. I was like, oh, we've been on here for quite a bit. I wonder if they're going to, and just like 3 minutes later, it started moving. I was like, I think we're pushing an evac here.
So, Brian, you don't want to be on the TTA when the lights run. You can't see shit anymore anyway. They've
Really?
covered most of it up, yeah.
Oh, walled off. Oh, yeah, it's been, and you know what the sad part is? It's been walled off for years.
Oh,
It used to be a perk.
Because they used to have that plexiglass, like right there.
Well, it used to be Space Mountain's closed. Everyone to the TTA!
And
Robin, to the Batmobile.
I've done it all.
TTA.
Space Mountain's the one ride I could say I've done it all. I've ridden the TTA when the lights have been on.
You've done it in the pitch black.
I've done it in the pitch black. That was the most fun. I've been evac'd from it. And I've ridden it twice with the lights on and never again.
God, I've done it once with the lights on. That was once too many.
Well, you have a disadvantage. You're tall.
Yeah, and my arms were in the air. And they went down. They never went back up. Since then, I turtled and I never looked back.
There was a time, I'm trying to remember what happened. Because it happened so suddenly. It was during Rocket Roller Coaster. And midway through, the ride was still like, the music was going on. The ride, like, we didn't stop at all. It was just like,
well, you can.
The emergency lights, like all the lights inside came on. And they were on for like, I don't know if somebody flipped a switch by accident or what, but they were on for like almost the entire, and by the time we got into the end station, the lights went out again. I'm like, what the hell was that?
I've ridden Rocket with the lights on, but from the get it was intended, and I'll tell you that launch is even better with the lights on when you realize you go right up the back wall of the soundstage, and you're just like, I wondered how this works. This is really awesome. Also, it is a bowl of pasta in here. I'm closer to that than I realized. I'm glad this isn't Space Mountain. That was my only thought going through is I lower the car not in Space Mountain right now.
Which, fun thing, like Rockin's one of the easiest rides to ever ride with the lights on because an outdoor clone of it exists.
Yes.
I forget what park it's at, but there is an exact clone of Rockin' Roller Coaster outdoors at an amusement park somewhere.
Huh.
There is an exact clone. It is model at the time. You had a couple of Six Flags has a couple like it with them. They call them. That's why I call them. They call them the pasta bowls because it looks just like a bunch of spaghetti in a bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's great for a small footprint roller coaster, but I've never been evac from anything fun. Space Mountain was fun, but it's not fun. Because
Splash was not fun.
One, those cars are higher than you think.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where I had to step over, and I got evac from the lift hill, was higher than my head to the ground. Like,
wow.
Like, they legit had to come help everybody out, and I felt bad for those cast members. Like,
that's kind of why I'm glad I've never been evac from space, because I'd probably look at them and go, I don't know what crane you're getting to bring me out of this, but I hope it gets here soon. Because I ain't stepping. Getting in this was hard enough. Now you want me to get out of this?
Yeah, those bobsleds.
And there's not much fun to see when you're evac from it because it's just a bunch of metal. Now, I got to walk down the launch tunnel, so that was cool. But it's not you're not seeing any fun backstage stuff. I walked through the launch tunnel and right back into the line. Like,
We have to realize it is an older roller coaster too, so they don't really have like backstage stuff. Where it's not like the Haunted Mansion where you
Forbidden
get to,
Journey is the one that I would love to be evac from.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I want to watch. I want to be like, what scene am I in? Which screen rolling around do I get to follow?
I do have something fun to add to the Space Mountain evac. It was less than an hour after I got engaged.
Ah!
And Meg hates that ride.
Well,
And
it was divine intervention.
You knew something happened because we only sat for like 2 minutes before they started evacing. Like, that means
She
something.
looked up like a drum.
Something stopped at a spot it shouldn't have stopped.
Now there was a time that I do remember. I don't know if you guys ever came across this or not, but I remember there was one year when I was at Universal Studios. We were in line for the Mummy, and there were cast members. Well, they're not called cast members, but
Team members,
crew members,
team
yeah.
members.
They actually told us upon riding the ride, they're like, "Hey, just letting you guys know, we're having technical difficulties with the lighting. The ride still works, but all the lights are going to be on in the ride." Like, they were telling people this before. Have you guys ever come across that with cast members telling them, like, "Hey, we're having technical difficulties with this"?
No, because Disney won't run it.
Disney will, if they're having a difficulty like that, they will get maintenance on the scene and they will one-on-one the attraction.
It's unlikely, and I've seen this happen too, where the lights will turn on mid-ride and they'll let the cycle finish.
That's what happened with me with Rock and Roller Coaster. I'm saying there was a time where Universal, because it was somewhat crowded, like they were trying to push people through, and they're just like, "Hey, we're having."
That's Universal. Remember, what's one of the keys here? Show. That's breaking the show. Disney won't do that because not only adults may be fine, kids may not be. They may see things they don't want to see, can't see. It has to keep the magic and keep the show alive. Disney would rather pull a major attraction offline all day than have something subpar come out. Right. Plus, they know how bad their fans are.
What cracked me up when I was being evac from Space Mountain is some idiot took a flash photo, and you quickly get the cast members, "No pictures!" And I'm sitting there going, "Are you afraid of the backstage magic of a 50-year-old roller coaster?" Like,
company policy.
I know. I'm like, there's no hidden things that aren't out there already.
Like, what are we going to see?
You offer rides with the lights on.
It's less about what they're seeing and more. It's a liability. They don't want the cast members are doing all they can, and that's all they can do. That's what it comes down to. You're not supposed to be taking pictures of the cast members out there, but also they don't want to catch somebody.
So, I videoed. I didn't take a flash photo. I'm not an idiot. I videoed it. The lights are on. I don't need a flash. But it's cool with it. 101. It's a bucket list item for I think every Disney fan to get evac'd off a ride or two.
And most people would think it would be they'd hate it. And I'm like, oh, I get to get evac'd? Sweet.
Except unless you're in Splash Mountain and it starts sinking like the Titanic.
Yeah. Wow. Listen, I got evac'd and me on Splash Mountain, and that's saying something.
I just want to know what the recovery is for being the guests in the sunken log.
They give you all new clothing.
Did you guys see the photo that I sent you?
Yeah, this is not the first time that's happened.
Yeah,
I know. Front, I can see it being starting to sink like the Titanic from the nose and start going. This was from the back.
Yeah, these are not new ride vehicles. So if you had, I'm gonna be polite. If you have 5 of Bruce in the ride vehicle,
But these people,
Something's happening there, and it's not good.
yeah.
And that's a ride that can sink.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler: pirates can't sink.
No.
I know this because I rode an entire time scraping the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Splash is a lot deeper. Splash can change you this way. It's a lot deeper here than you realize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Intended so that way when big people got on, it wouldn't.
Pirates, we got on with a Keys to the Kingdom tour, and they neglected because they were running somewhat crowded that day. They wanted to make sure we all got on one boat.
Oh no.
An entire boat of just adults. Yeah, we caused a traffic jam. We only moved when another boat came and bumped. We literally had a line of boats through the entire attraction as we
That's pretty cool.
bumped along.
Talk about photo opportunities. If it was bumper to bumper in Pirates, you had so many photo ops.
It wasn't that much fun.
I have lifted myself on Pirates up in the air a little bit. I've sat forward, just be like, I don't like the feel of this. But like I said, I've gotten in Splash Mountain and been pretty flush with that water. Pretty close to that. And I'm like, you really want to put me in the front row? Okay. Pretty sure the back of the log was in the air because there are a bunch of kids in the back. But been there pretty damn close to water spilling over the sides.
Yeah.
But here's where I'm getting at, Bruce, with the guest recovery. Because now you're looking at potentially destroyed phones that everybody needs around the park.
Yep.
The phones I'm curious about.
What about even like backpacks when you put those in the rides with you too? I mean,
there's certain things you take a liability. It's on the back of your ticket, and that covers them. And I think phones might be covered by that.
I understand, but they have made you so reliant on your phone that I do not think they
I'm
can.
aware. They may what they may do is give you a tour guide for a day for the rest of the week. They may that probably would be the easiest guest recovery. Because you want to replace that, you're replacing the convenience of making reservations at Disney Plus. Here's someone that's going to take care of that for you. Done. That's probably the easiest guest recovery. Yeah. Having been on it when somebody had an accident, a bladder control accident. Kid.
Oh no!
They were stuck under the birds for a long time. And in case you don't know, Splash starts at the front and moves forward through. So if you're looking at the exit, you're the last one to get off that boat. Good luck. At least that's the way they used to operate. They were under those birds for quite a while, and it happened. So we guest recovered some clothing. The grandmother pushed me. They needed to have a toy because they were under the demon birds. Everyone's like, demon birds? What demon birds? Guys, they're at the base of the lift hill, the Undertaker birds. They're creepy. Really? You want to do that right with me right now? But they try to has to have something under those demon birds. They deserve a toy. They need something else. They've been traumatized, ma'am. This is what you're getting. That's it. I am authorized to do this. This is authorized by my manager. My manager's going to do this, but anything else has to come above me. This is what I'm authorized to do. I am just a cast member. Would you like to speak to my manager? You would? No problem. Hey, Andy! They want to talk to you. Fun fact, it's actually what I said when I walked in the back. Verbatim, just, hey, Andy! She walks over. They want to talk to me. Come on out. This is Andy. She's going to help you from here. I'm done. Macaroni and cheese. It was lunchtime, and it was on my lunch break. I'm like, I'm going to go eat my lunch now. Goodbye.
Good luck.
Yep.
I still think the cast members that have the highest level of patience are the cast members operating the single rider line on Test Track.
Oh my God.
Because I don't know what it is with Test Track single rider line. That is the line where I have seen the most people come to an argument about riding with people from the single rider line. I don't see it on any other ride but Test Track.
I've seen it on Rockin', and something about Rockin', when the cast member says, "That's not happening," sign was at the front. Yes, I'm sorry, no problem. But Test Track, when they say that, what do you mean? I don't know what it is, but I agree with you. Test Track, it's like, what do you mean the four of us can't ride together? You're in single rider, dude. Tough shit.
I have
Yeah.
seen, and if it was a one-off, okay. I have seen this several times, and like, this is literally the woman I was directly behind. On the way there, I think no less than 3 cast members told them they will not be able to ride together. Because it was her and like a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Which part of me wants to sit there and go, can we just put an age limit on single rider?
Right.
Please?
And I think the issue is too with Test Track is that you don't really have, and up until when Guardians opens up, there's not that many family-based attractions in Future World. I mean, family thrill attractions.
There's not that many attractions.
True. So I think with Test Track, you have families wanting to skip the standby line or not get a fast pass and just use the single rider queue and hope that they can all ride together.
They do. That is the hope. But they tell you enough that it's not, and arguing only makes this worse for everybody behind you. I do know they are allowed, and it is in. They are allowed to tell you you can't ride, get out.
Right.
I had one time I saw a very heated argument, and that's what was said in front of me on Test Track, and that's what was said to me was said to the people in front of me was, you can argue all you want, you are not coming on together. You either ride separately. If you try to come on, I will have you escorted out of the park. That is how we have to handle this.
So there's 2 things: have fun and also be respectful to the cast members.
That should be a given.
Yeah.
Listen,
but
members,
there's Karens. There are plenty of Karens that come to Disney.
To be fair, though, I've encountered cast members that deserve it. I encountered one bitch of a cast member. Hate to call it that, but she was. They were dumping Fast Pass like crazy for Toy Story. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Well, you should have booked the Fast Pass, and you could have. And I looked at this girl. I just said, college program, you don't want to do that. She looked at me and said, you don't want to treat me like that because I said, I'm a former cast member. 60-1 odds, I know your manager up there. You don't want to say that again to me. Book a Fast Pass, we would have if we could have.
I will happily, and it does not happen often. I am very unlikely to write a good review for a good cast member. I am likely to write one for a great cast member, and I am likely to write one for a POS.
Above and beyond is what should be written down. Average cast member, that's what you're here to do. If you are getting paid here, I know it's minimum wage half the time, but that is what you're here for. We're paying more to be here, which is what the training used to be.
And, like, I'm sorry, my bar is a lot higher at Disney than it is, like, at Panera.
Yeah.
If I get somebody grumpy at Panera, whatever. If I get somebody grumpy and gruff at Disney, that's a different thing. I'm sorry. I know you can absolutely be having a bad day, but your bad day is not supposed to affect my good day, my $1,000 day.
You're supposed to leave it in the trunk of your car, and that's what they're all told to do. It's not. I get especially bad because I went out of my way. I was having a bad day, and I made sure I did the best I could for these guests walking in the gate. They spent a lot of money to be here. Okay, how did I ruin your day because I work for Disney? Lay it on me. I'm here to help you. What can I do? But come on, when you treat people bad, I agree. I have a very low tolerance. Fun fact: recognize the manager. Years later, by divine intervention, I walk out and I go, I remember that face. I also knew a tour guide walking over, which was a little fun thing. Walk about with my family. What's going on, Buck?
My favorite thing to do is I always make sure to congratulate the cast members with the blue name tags.
Legacy?
Yeah, I like to.
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
I don't see that many of them. So, and some of them are have truly earned their legacy.
Oh, no, they do. And actually, I've asked people sometimes, occasionally, one thing I like to ask, did you earn that? Were you here or were you someplace else? And what I mean by that is some people could be working here, but they earned it working 20 years over at Epcot.
Right.
But, like, my first encounter with a legacy name tag was the pianist at Casey's Corner. And he's been there forever and a day.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Like, this guy looked to be no younger than 73. Like,
Yeah.
he earned his thing, and he probably sits there and goes and plays backup for Yeehaw Bob later. Like,
you get
Who is actually back now? Do you guys hear Yeehaw Bob?
Yes, I did.
That's awesome.
They said he would be back. We knew that from the get-go. It's just temporary. You are coming back. But there's a lot of them. I mean, there's a certain cast member I know who I'm not going to mention. She plays a certain part. She might be very, very good friends with the fairy godmother.
okay.
If that woman is not legacy, I quit.
I thought you were going to reference to hashtag bring back push.
No.
I will never bring back that jackass of a garbage can. The Muppet Mobile Labs, bring them back.
Yeah.
Muppet Mobile Labs and Lucky deserve to come back. Push, and we don't need the trash can.
I just love the fact that it can have Disney people posting photos with a trash can.
Yeah.
If this picture brings back memories, you're a Disney fan.
You know.
Actually, memories right now, the backgrounds. I'm looking at the background. I don't know when I came out. I'm like, put your hand in the lid, pop the door, pull the can out, put bags in, rip the sides. Oh gosh, it's been a while, but how do I remember that? Wow. That's a throwback.
Yeah.
Restaurantosaurus, baby. Blueberries.
Also, sometimes I sit there and I just go, I feel like this is the manager today who's having the bad day. Because when you encounter the person who is most unhappy, and I get it, they're in the shittiest position. They're the order taker at like Pico's Bills. But you sit there and go, if this is the person who's like in a miserable mood, can we make them the person that's filling the drinks? Like, not the one person who spends the most time interacting with guests.
Put them in the kitchen. Actually, just the opposite. The kitchen is a lot worse with attitude. That's where that's where things are more likely to escalate.
That's why I say drink filler.
Drinks has its ups and downs, but yeah. I agree. Been there, done that, bought that shirt.
On a busy day, you're just filling soda. You're not even looking at orders.
Been there. Well, then the moment you got to realize, crap, I got to test this. I'm not supposed to test it on stage, but I got to test the soda to make sure there's syrup in this.
Oh, here I go again. Have to test the Beverly.
When it's out of syrup, kind of what it's like. It's just, that ain't good. Hold on. Great. Now, so can someone go replace the Coke syrup for me? No. Sorry, folks. I'll be right back. It's the be nice to the cast members. I was filling in. I picked up a shift at Hollywood Studios. I've worked everywhere. I had all the guest relations at that time. I picked up at least one shift everywhere. Not familiar enough, but the one manager there, she was awesome. This guest, berated, sweetheart of a girl working next to me, was screaming at her to the point she was actually crying. Manager comes out and goes, "Sir, I understand you're upset. What could have happened on your vacation that was so bad to make another human being cry?" Because she's crying in the background, as she was. What could have possibly happened that was so bad to make another human being cry? Oh, your order came out wrong at the commissary? Okay. Here's your fast passes. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Here's your fast passes. They're not good at Toy Story Midway Mania at the time. That was the hot one, so they were no good there. But not good at Toy Story Midway Mania. Have a good day.
What could possibly
She said that. I'm next to her, talking to guests, trying not to smirk. But she goes, what could have possibly happened on your vacation that was so bad to make another human being cry? Let me know.
And
better be good. Basically, her situation was,
it's got to be like
good.
a death in the family or something. Like,
better be good. There better be something huge. If he had a good reason, she would have said, "I'm very." She was very fair. Awesome woman. She was so fair. She would have absolutely helped them. And with the retort was, and he got very small when he said it. It was like, oh, I guess I'm being out of control, aren't I? Yeah, you're being out of control.
A little bit, just a little bit.
Also, on that whole thing, yeah, my order has been wrong at Disney before. I have never had pushback on getting it fixed. Like, getting a correct order, that I can get that at McDonald's. Like, that's a no-brainer. I go up, you skip the line, you go straight to the window, you go, you messed up.
It could have been all the little things, and that was what. But it was that. That was the thing. It's like all these little things that he said. It was like, well, what do you want from me? Here's fast passes. That's all I can do. What do you want? You want a refund on your tickets? Ha!
Plus, I get it's all the little things. Only one of those little things happened here. The only thing you're complaining about and that I can address is this.
Yeah.
Here's your hot dog. And I have had times where I've had the cast member pleading me to also take the incorrect food with the correct food because they got to throw it out. And I'm sitting there going, I got this burger. I can't eat a foot-long hot dog, too. Like, I'm not that hungry. And
having been on both sides, I did that with a guest. Oh, come on, please, just take it. I understand. No. We got jerk in front of him without making eye contact. Dump in the garbage. Why didn't you go and do that? I would have taken it. I tried. Sorry. I can't tell you that's what I'm going to do, but once it goes across this counter, can't bring it back, dude.
That's food safety 101 anywhere. And I told the cast member I was having this discussion about the hot dog with, like, look, you give it to me, I'm going to do the same thing you're going to do. Just save me from having to carry it on this already overcrowded tray.
Which is perfectly fair.
Hidden fact, nothing against Disneyland, but if you wanna get a free Dole Whip, just saying, the Dole Whip hut right outside of the Enchanted Tea Room in Disneyland, because of how crowded it gets, they tend to mess up those orders very frequently. So if you ever go out there on a busy Saturday or Friday, there's a really good chance. Well, you can get it like without alcohol, or you can get it in a souvenir cup, or whatever, or just like different flavors. But there have been times, because they're already like kind of, they already have them prepared, like pre-made. So when you order, like, oh, here you go.
So making them we're busy. I'm just going to throw them out. You use what you need.
There have been many times where I'm waiting to go inside the Enchanted Room in Disneyland, California, where I'm double fisting Dole Whips. And I only paid for one. And it's great. I'm not complaining. I got a free Dole Whip.
What I'll say is there's a reason the Fixins bar is a thing, and that's because when you take all the toppings off and make you put it on, there's less they can mess up. They could just make burgers.
Yeah.
When you're putting them on, you systematically put them through. I throw them through on the bun, in the boat, throw the fries in, throw it out. Next. Boom, boom, boom. With cheese, without cheese. Hey, I need more cheese. Boom, 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 boom. Move them on, push them out, keep it going.
That's what, like, I'll sit there and you'll be at these places and you'll be listening to other guests and you just sit there going, oh, you're trying to make changes? Oh, that's not going to go well. They're crowded. You're not getting that.
I was at after the music band the other week. I was at
How was it?
Great. We'll get there in 1 second. Came home 1 second after this. Came home. We decided to get Five Guys for dinner. You obviously can see the kitchen. Guy's making the French fries. And my dad turns to me and nudges me and goes, bringing back any memories? I said, a little bit. He's shaking those fries way too much. 6 shakes? What time do you have? You got 2 to 3 and in the tray, add the salt, scoop them up, out they go. Said, 6? More than 3 shakes? What are you doing? You don't have time for that. Looks around. I guess he has time for that. I didn't. It was 1, 2, 3. Boom. When I throw them out, the rest of the oil will come off.
Yeah. So, Music Man.
How was it?
Fantastic. It really was. Hugh Jackman is fantastic. He really is. Kept in the palm of your hand. I will say his singing is a little weak. But that's just him. Him singing the role, but he's fantastic. The ensemble, the ensemble is working their absolute butts off. The truth is, if you don't like it, you just don't like the Music Man. That's polarizing. It's a polarizing show. People who see them love it or hate it. I'm in a group that loves it. I had a fantastic time. If I had to be critical of it, Sutton Foster, because she's not a soprano and it's written as a soprano, they have to bring it down for her. Good Night, My Someone was fine. My White Knight was awful. Absolutely terrible. I sat there like, oh my God. I didn't even clap. I'm like, you're kidding me, right? Sutton, what was that? Act 2 comes, one of my favorite songs of the show, Till There Was You. I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, I don't know about this. I'm like, please, for the love of God, the intro plays. Knocked it out of the damn park. She recovered perfectly. Absolute fantastic rendition of it. I was like, they brought it down. It worked wonderfully. I really had a great time. It just, other than this is my first show because I see a lot of things in previews with Broadway Cares. So they auctioned off gloves, which I left during. $4,000 for a glove from Sutton and Hugh. No, thank you.
Wow. How was Billy Crystal's show?
Mr. Saturday Night. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, last Tuesday night, I was home now, getting home recently. I saw Mr. Saturday Night based on the movie starring Billy Crystal on Broadway. They made a musical out of it. It was good. It's a fun show. I saw the very first preview, so there's a lot they're going to tighten. I think there's some things that need to be cut. I doubt they're going to go. Randy Graff sings a song in Act 2 about Tahiti. That's a cute little song, but really needs to be axed. They're not going to, because for her, that's her kind of big number of the show. It's fun. It's Borscht Belt. It's very Borscht Belt Jewish. The one thing I will say...
Is he in the show? Is he
he's the star.
Okay.
I'm blanking the actor's name. The guy who played his brother in the movie... I've never seen the movie. He's the one agent in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, all Jewish man.
Tony.
No, not Tony Shalhoub. No. Plays the agent who Susie happens to run across with, glasses. Plays his brother, Randy Graff, and Shoshana Bean make up the 4 main people, and then they have a Greek chorus, the other 3. I had a lot of fun. I will say this: it is for an older audience. Because it takes place in 1994. There's references to people that other people around us were laughing. I'm like, I guess that's a joke. I quite didn't get what you mean.
Okay.
And rounding out what I saw in a week span, so I love Mr. Saturday Night. The problem, Mr. Saturday Night, so you know, is worth the money now more. They were charging way too much, but ticket prices have since dropped drastically in the mezzanine, so you now can get $70 tickets in the back mezzanine, making it a lot more worth it. It's a fun show, and they're going to tighten it, and it's going to be great. Listen, is he a great singer? Not necessarily. He's a good showman, and it shows. He's Billy Crystal. It is a fun show. It's a little on the long side. Didn't really feel it too bad. It's a fun show. Then I saw Funny Girl with Beanie Feldstein.
How was that?
Holy crap! Go to the August Wilson to see the show immediately. I'd say the same thing about the Music Man, but Music Man has a Hugh Jackman ticket price. This doesn't. Floored me. I've never seen Funny Girl. I'm not a Barbra Streisand fan at all. Funny Girl was written for her specifically. I don't care what
Wow.
anyone. Hot take you're going to hear here. Just for a second, folks, just got to get on my soapbox. Hot take. I don't care what anyone tells you. Don't listen to what you read online. Just go see the show. I don't care what anyone's going to say. She can't sing it. Is she vocally a little weak on it? Yeah. Her comics chops are perfect. The cast, uniform, fantastic. Absolutely loved it. I truly did. Beanie Feldstein, at the end of Act 1, stands tall, center stage, giving the proverbial double bird to everyone who says she can't do this, and just absolutely nails Don't Rain on My Parade. The curtain came down. I couldn't hit my feet fast enough. Holy crap. That was a star turn if I've ever seen one. She truly, truly is just, her comics are fantastic. Yes, are her vocals necessarily that strong all throughout? No. She's not the greatest singer out there. She does enough. She nails all the big moments. I'm going again next week. And I might go a third time. I absolutely loved it.
Wow. Okay.
Absolutely loved it. I've never. There are slow moments at the show. I'm like, oh, okay, a little boring here, but show doesn't have slow moments. All the others had slow moments as well. But I like the Music Man, so that one felt less slow. I know about everything there. Back to the Music Man for a second. I hated 76 trombones. They made it. They extended a lot of the dance breaks in these numbers, and I hated 76 trombones so much. My mother and father didn't mind it. I sat there going, why is the scene still going? Why? Who decided this? Oh, your name's Hugh Jackman. I guess I can't argue you. But I've seen some great theater this month. I really have. Or last month, I should say. I really did. I'll see a couple. I have a couple more things, and then I can formulate my full opinions about the season. Who's going to win Best Actress? Grab a crystal ball. Good luck.
Hey, I like competition.
I think it is. Other people would disagree. Beanie Feldstein, when I saw her, hadn't played the role a week. Give her the month of previews they have. I think she can do it.
Sorry, Bruce. Did you just see the? Oh my God, Dozer, that message is so funny.
No, I didn't see it.
Boomers, if you don't like working for tips, just quit. Millennials, Gen Z, start quitting service industry jobs. Boomers sitting in the understaffed restaurant. Where are my chicken tenders? That guy at Disney. Yep.
Oh my God, that's it. Is that Seamus? Is that Seamus?
Yes, that is Seamus.
That's fantastic. He looks thin there. Good for him.
So
that is great.
I'm sorry. Is that Jeff Hardy there on the table?
I don't know. Might be Matt Hardy. Nope, that's Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy. It's sad. I'm looking like, who has gauges like that in the wrestling world? It's probably Jeff Hardy.
So
that's funny as hell.
I also wanted to tell you guys. So I started playing Guardians of the Galaxy.
What do you think?
You guys are right. He does look like me.
He does. I'm telling you. He first appears like, damn. He looks familiar.
A lot blonder. Blonde hair.
Blonde, yes. I forget what scene it was. He's standing there like, holy shit, that's Brian.
Yeah. I could see. So here's my take on the game.
I love that game.
If it wasn't for the damn glitches that I keep getting in my PlayStation version, I would really enjoy this game. I swear, I have to reset it every 5 minutes because
I've soft locked. I get audio glitches nonstop.
I have had one, maybe two glitches in the game. I beat it, so I have no issues.
I'm on chapter 5, chapter 6 right now, and I swear to God, it's every. So chapter 6 is. I'm trying to remember where I'm at right now. So I just went to the abandoned. No, I already fled the abandoned Nova Corps ship because everyone was under mind games or whatever. So I'm on Nowhere right now. I'm on Nowhere.
Okay, I'm just after Nowhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nowhere's cool. Nowhere's cool. I kind of want to go into the collector's museum, but I don't want to spend 7,000 credits to do it. So
I did not, but don't worry. Not saying anything. In fact, I'm just going to find out.
Okay. What I will say, since I'm past nowhere, I had this moment where they're talking about it the whole time, and it didn't dawn on me until I saw Cosmo and face palmed big because I did not put 2 and 2 together.
Peter Grill.
I didn't realize it was Cosmo, the space dog.
Who
Like-
do you think it was?
A character for the game. Like, it just would not dawn on me until I'm there with a talking dog going, oh God, how did I miss this? How did I not get this earlier?
I thought they called him Cosmo pretty early on too.
Oh yeah,
Wait,
they
what-
always use his name as Cosmo.
When does Cosmo come in the game?
You're about to get to him.
You're almost there.
Okay.
Don't worry.
I
You're very
I
close.
just went through the brain maze to get
You're
to the
like-
tower.
Oh,
Inches.
you're literally, you are there. Cosmo,
Okay, well, if it wasn't for the damn glitches, I probably would be there by now.
the choices you make do matter near the end of the game.
Okay.
It doesn't affect anything other than may make the end of the game a little longer and harder. I happen to make the right choices, apparently. The game comes with, folks, in case you haven't played it, with Guardians of the Galaxy, the game, it comes with a lot of decisions that I early on didn't realize, oh, these happen fast. I better make choices
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
And they do affect the future. The game will always end the same. Everything will play out fine, but it does affect, maybe you get an extra scene or two. Cosmo does have, you'll see a scene that does affect choices.
Is there
of him.
is Howard the Duck in this game? I was hoping for Howard.
I'm just going to say, playing this game, I can't do anything to keep fucking Rocket happy.
No,
I
you
know!
can't. No, you can't. I will tell you this though. Something you guys will, when you get there, because they combine the movies with comics, other things. This is the version of Mantis we all deserve.
She did appear in the one scene in Nowhere, the cutscene that.
Just trust me. When you get there, you will agree. This
Okay.
is the Mantis we deserved. The things that come out of her mouth.
Okay.
I
She
love the
opens her
spark-
mouth and gold falls out just every time. You
I
will
love
die. The
every
things
other
she
line
says.
is Flarkin. It's like
What?
flarking this, flarking that. What the flark?
With the Flark. And some of this involves Rocket. Keeping Rocket happy is impossible, but it all comes together with him. But you'll see. I'm actually kind of upset that you guys aren't having these glitches. I had maybe 2 glitches, but that was it. I had really a seamless time with this game. I know Dozer, I know you said you had frame rate dips. I never really had that.
My frame rate dips, and the audio glitches are what's killing me. Like, I had to put on subtitles to try and follow in-game speak.
That's
Like,
I
that's
I
not
never
mine.
had that. That's
Mine-
I never encountered the issues you guys are having. So I've really taken it back. I really had.
Mostly my glitching is the fighting, and it's whenever it's the huddle up. Anytime that I try to do the huddle up, it freezes.
I got
to the
stuck in a
point-
huddle up.
Really?
No. Here's how it'll start. Like, I will do the huddle up, and then they'll just like come up to the camera, and then nothing will happen. You just hear like the instrumental music, and like they don't talk at all. And they just like sit there. And I'm like,
I never had a huddle mess up.
When my huddle up messed up, I thought it was because I had Groot but no Rocket for some reason at that moment. I don't know why.
Maybe Rocket was down?
I don't know, but Groot said something, but there was no one to translate for him, and it just got stuck.
Ooh.
Like, it just stopped there. Like, you got,
Yeah.
I am Groot, and then
I never had a problem with the huddle. Occasionally I'd set it off by accident before I meant to, but I never had that. I just one of those, I never encountered that issue. The game was mostly seamless to me.
yeah, it's always the fighting sequences for me. It like either it lags or it just.
and I'm on a Series X, so I know it's not a hardware issue.
Yeah, because I didn't play mine on my X. I played mine on the PS5.
And see, I thought maybe because I have a PS4, maybe it's just the running time or for this game is primarily probably for PS5, not
That
PS4.
might
But
be why yours and Bruce's experience were different, but I'm on a Series X. I'd expect that to
Yeah,
run.
that should be seamless. Unless something, I'm just, that's why I'm like, I can't imagine. Because I really had no issue.
now, do you guys have the discs, or do you guys download the digital game on the?
Disc.
I have a disc.
I have. See, I bought it on digital because they had the PlayStation.
That shouldn't
4
change anything, though.
Well, and I got a steal for it too because it was on the PlayStation site for like $30. So I bought the deluxe edition with the extra suits or whatever.
It has been on sale because, well, it's a Square Enix game.
Yeah.
You can say what you want about it, but that's the Square Enix game at the end of the day. No, I actually forgot I pre-ordered this, and it just arrived in the mail on release date. So I was like, oh, that's right. I have this. I should put this into my system. At the time, I was heavily in the back for blood, but I got the time, and then when I started this, I'm like, nope, can't stop. Love this. This is amazing.
Yeah.
I've stopped for a moment just because I was getting tired of glitches.
Understandably, glitches ruin a game.
And audio glitches in a game that's about a lot of dialogue, that just gets frustrating. So I went back and I'm on my second playthrough of Halo Infinite.
There you go.
But this time I'm doing it the fun way, and I have boom and cowbell on, and I have the scorpion gun with unlimited ammo.
There you go.
That is how you play the second playthrough.
It's much easier. Much easier.
It's all about having fun, because I'm currently playing Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which is an offshoot of Borderlands 3. And, well, the game everyone who has a Switch should be playing. If you're not playing Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, you're doing life wrong.
But
I just got the Skywalker Saga Lego edition, the new Lego game that just came out.
I downloaded it. I can't wait to start it. I love Lego games.
So do I. But this is from what I've heard, this is the Lego Star Wars game, because you get to play all 9 films, but you can also customize scenes with Lego pieces. And,
I never played Lego Star Wars before. I've only played Lego Avengers and Lego DC Villains.
Oh, Lego Star Wars is a masterpiece.
I've never played Lego Star Wars.
And this one is this one they said is nuts, because you could jump from you can. What were they saying? You can. They joked about how you can do the machete version of Star Wars, how you used to watch the machete Star Wars film, and they deep cut Star Wars reference stuff in this game, and you can build stuff that you can use in any of the levels, and you can use any kit.
I was actually going to start later, not at the beginning, because I was told, spoiler alert, you can play as Carbonite Han Solo, and I'm I need to have that in my life.
Yeah, it's every character you could possibly think of, anything from Star Wars in this game.
And the Mandalorian. I know he's in there with the DLC pack. There's a lot of DLC packs to come. I very much want to play. I love Lego games. They're just so much fun.
They really are, and they can take your favorite media and make it more fun, and it makes me more annoyed that Mega Bloks has the Halo franchise. Because Lego Halo just sounds like fun to me.
That would be really fun.
Lego Halo sounds excellent. And I actually should start it soon.
Even the name, Lego Halo.
I know on Thursday when the Chrono Cross Remastered comes out, my life will be over.
Yeah.
I love that. That's one of my favorite games of all time. That's it. I'm done having a life.
I'm just waiting for Halo to unveil co-op play, because...
Please? I haven't been playing too much of Infinite because I want to play co-op in the story, the way it's meant to be.
It's a fun game, and I will say my combination has made some things hard, because I was fighting one of the mini bosses and accidentally blasted them halfway across the world. But they were strong enough they didn't die. And I'm like, I gotta go find them.
See, I need someone to compliment my play style of I'm a close range running and I ask questions never. I just shoot.
God damn it, we're gonna have to play with Richard, aren't we?
Possibly.
He's the sniper.
Listen, I'm sorry. I can't help if I'm a Wolfenstein Doom player. I'm in the middle of this.
I've gotten better about taking some things from mid to long range.
Ugh. I do it when I have to.
But I think we're going off the rails at this point.
We are definitely
We
off
are.
the rails
Did
at
we
this
miss
point.
anything? I know you had that little cheat sheet.
Nope,
thing.
we covered everything.
I don't think we talked about DeSantis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
He's-
whatever. We can touch
He's
that.
going to war with Disney. He wants to get rid of the Reedy Creek Improvement District, which is
There you
like
go.
the backbone to how
Yeah.
Disney operates. It's
Good luck with that. And if he does it, holy shit.
Luckily, I think he would need the full legislator behind him. I don't think he could. And
Again,
this is
I
like Game
think
of
this is-
Thrones.
This is all it is. It is like Game of Thrones. Thank you, Brian. This is all a ploy because he wants to make a run at the White House. That's it. I'm convinced. That's all this is. He wants to make it. He doesn't actually think he's going to win this war. He just wants to show them, I made a look. I tried to make a stand against Disney. So when he runs for the presidency, that's what I can say.
Hey, here's what I'm just going to say, because it's a very important thing of why the Reedy Creek Improvement District is important. One, Disney owns a lot of land.
Yeah.
No. That's only 2 lots. I think you need to add 5 more to really
Like,
scope
they
how
really-
much land they own.
They own enough land that they actually should have the rights to be their own government
Town.
at the local
Yeah.
level.
I thought it was they can actually build what they have currently twice, I thought.
Yes, and still have 1/3
And still have
saved
more left
for
over. Yeah. Green space.
And also, okay, so say you take away the Reedy Creek Improvement District. Great. Now you're running into the issue that it's spread across 2 counties.
Right.
Like, that lets them mesh the 2 counties easier. It's problems. It is not, they need it. I'm not saying that to be like, Disney should be able to do whatever they want. No, they still have to follow a lot of local laws. It just lets them build the infrastructure they need.
It does. I don't think it would change things as much as we all like to think it would, only because of, I think there's a lot that you could necessarily grandfather in. It's just a threat. It's an idle threat because...
It's more like a lot of their stuff, yes, they can. All the old stuff, I think, would be grandfathered in because they've already built it. But Disney has the power to build power plants. Something they need because they generate a lot of power.
Oh, yeah.
They're their own grid.
What helps them is when they would develop anything, there's nothing there. I think that's what the saving grace would be. It's not like you're trying to Universal and SeaWorld, like when they make Disney operates on. They even said Disney can do whatever they want down there. How come we have to adhere to these laws to create Potter's Law? And that really helped them. But it's also because they're in the part of the city. Disney, technically, by all reason, is in the boonies.
And when they bought the land and developed the improvement district, it was 100% the boonies. It was a swamp.
Yeah.
I think that's what would help them, because you're right. To build the power plant they would need, they could say, hey, tell you what, we'll build the power plant. You want to build residential around us and we'll help build it? Fine. We'll build it. That's why I don't think at the end of the day it would affect things. But I agree with you. It could. It could certainly affect it with multi-counties. But I think it's more that the price for everything would skyrocket because Walt Disney's got deep pockets.
Disney has very unique power to the point that it cannot be ignored. They do have the authority to build a nuclear power plant. They can build nuclear if they want. I don't think Disney ever would build a nuclear power plant.
Why not? They own The Simpsons now. Why can't they?
Kind of on The Simpsons. They own the rights to some of The Simpsons things. I don't think they truly own The Simpsons.
No.
Really?
Pretty sure the way the contracts are written, Matt Groening would have certain things to say. They own certain distribution rights to them.
The Simpsons are unique. Like everyone like wants to get their has poured over the Marvel contract. I've seen no analysis on the Simpsons contract.
When it comes to Simpson contracts, it's who actually owns the Simpsons. It's not Fox. Theoretically, they could have left Fox at any point.
Yeah.
Fox will do whatever they wanted.
Is that the same thing with Family Guy?
I don't know necessarily, but when it comes to The Simpsons, remember, that's been on so long, Groening may have a greater share than we realize of say.
He might have a lot of say, but Disney probably owns the whole back catalog.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Disney owns the back catalog and streaming rights. And who owns the characters and everything that's what it comes down to. That's why the whole Futurama thing that just happened with John DiMaggio, that's why I've argued, I think DiMaggio was having arguments with Disney because he signs up for Netflix, no problem, for Disenchantment. That's where I think the issue comes in.
Yeah.
Is anything new they make, they're doing with Hulu, who would be Disney. I think it comes of who owns distribution rights, who owns the rights to the characters and everything. There's a chance Disney may own everything. I could be wrong. Disney could own everything. I don't know back in 1989 who owned whatever.
And it could have changed 150 times.
It could have.
Ownership rights are crazy.
Oh, Bart Simpson joked that the Groening wrote in the one episode, hey, Robert Murdoch, you just saved my channel. Fox, you just saved Fox Studios. Wouldn't be the first time.
And yeah, that's all. It fits perfectly, and who knows? I don't know who owns The Simpsons. Nor do I really care.
What do you think? Like this is going to do a theme park thing with The Simpsons? No.
No, because that's probably against the contract.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
It's always funny when you look at some of this stuff because, okay, now that Comcast NBC Universal owns Universal Parks, okay, it's they have money behind them. When it was just Universal Studios and Universal Parks, I am fairly certain that the Disney of now could have bought them.
Oh, absolutely.
Now they can't, but
you're talking like as Universal Pictures, like when it was
Yes.
Universal. Yeah. Oh, Disney today compared to Universal back in the late 80s, early 90s.
yeah, like you exist, we let you exist. Kind of like Apple lets some companies exist, but also try to regulate everything else out of existence.
They could have bought the land. As far as when Universal first opened, they could have bought the land and the rights. It's certain rights they never had access to.
Yeah.
Right.
But now we're just getting very, very hypothetical and pedantic. And I like ending on something pedantic.
I agree.
Yeah.
So until next time, I'm Dozer. That's Brian of Love the Mouse Travel. That's Bruce of Not Love the Mouse Travel.
Oh, wait. Oh, there we go.
It
Camera
gets
was,
confusing.
Opposite. Yeah, it was opposite.
That's Bruce, who will keep you updated on anything Horror Nights. If you guys have theater questions, please send them my way. I'm more than happy to help you.
And until next time, we're the Diz Idiots. We're the idiots.
So you don't have
You don't
to
have to
be.
be.
Oops, wrong button, wrong button.